Hospital in a critical condition but was declared dead on arrival. Relatives have now alleged that the accused had clashed with Asif earlier as well. They claim the murder was carried out brutally over a minor issue. Police have registered a case in the regard and has launched a manhunt to nab the suspects. All right, Akhil is joining me live on the broadcast on that. Akhil, I believe Huma Qureshi's cousin has been brutally murdered. This happened over a parking dispute. But information have also come in about how there was a brawl in the past as well. Talk to us about if the accused and the victim here, in this case, Huma Qureshi's cousin, had an earlier dispute, an earlier brawl, which then resulted in his murder.
That's right, Tanisha. If you see over a minor brawl, what we have seen that Huma Qureshi's cousin has been killed by his neighbor over a parking dispute, which has been going on for a very long time. This is what we have learned, the information. And earlier, if you see Huma Qureshi's cousin brother, who has been identified as Asif Qureshi, with this accident at Jangpura at around 11 p.m., in which what we have got to learn that this dispute has been going on for a very long time, and that dispute basically turned into initially it was a verbal spat, then it turned into a physical altercation, and then the person who was his neighbor basically attacked him with a sharp weapon, in which what we have seen that he was taken to a nearby hospital where the doctors have declared Asif brought dead in Jangpura.
Right, Akhil. Thank you very much for getting us those details, tracking that story very closely. We'll come back to you as and when there are updates in the story. But for now, we move on to some other stories that we are tracking. As the United States intensifies trade pressure on India, New Delhi is sending out a strong message of strategic autonomous. NSA Ajit Doval is in Moscow, reinforcing deep-rooted ties with Russia. This, even as External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is now preparing to follow. With President Vladimir Putin set to visit India soon, that is later in August or September, diplomacy is clearly shifting gears. Here's the full story.
While US President Donald Trump ramps up the trade war with India,
We've made a lot of progress, and as you know, we put a 50% tariff on India on oil. They're the second largest. They're very close to China in terms of the purchase of oil from Russia. But so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we've had very productive talks today. Yes, ma'am?
If you do reach a deal with Ukraine and Russia, would you drop the additional tariffs on India?
Well, we'll determine that later, but right now they're paying a 50% tariff.
National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is in Moscow, and he met with Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu. A sure-shot reaffirmation of bilateral ties, Russia remains a high-value partner for India.
We have got a very special relationship, a long relationship, and we highly value our strategic partnership. We have had high-level engagements, and these high-level engagements have contributed very substantially. We are very excited and delighted to learn about the visit of His Excellency, the President of Russia, President Putin, to India. I think that the dates are almost finalized now. The more important thing is this, that is, these summit meetings have always been the watershed points.
While Russia says they are committed to furthering cooperation with India. Another highlight of the meeting was the announcement of Putin's visit to India. NSA Doval confirmed that the Russian premier was due to visit soon. With Doval in Moscow and Putin's impending visit, the message to Washington could not be more clear. That for India, economic sovereignty and national interest is paramount. And if the West has drawn a plan to target India, then it's game on.
हमारे लिए अपने किसानों का हित सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है। भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं। मेरे देश के किसानों के लिए, मेरे देश के मछुआरों के लिए, मेरे देश के पशुपालकों के लिए आज भारत तैयार है।
And we have breaking news that's coming in. Allahabad High Court judge has urged the CJI to defy Supreme Court order seeking full court meeting. At least 13 judges of the Allahabad High Court have written to the Chief Justice Arun Bhansali for convening a full court meeting against the Supreme Court's recent order against Justice Prashant Kumar. In a drastic direction issued on August 4th, the bench of Justice J.B. Paradiwala and Justice R. Madhavin urged the High Court Chief Justice to strip Justice Kumar of criminal roster till his retirement and make him sit in a division bench with a seasoned senior judge of the High Court. The direction and scathing remarks against Justice Kumar were passed for his verdict that criminal prosecution could be used as an alternative means to recover money in civil disputes. According to official sources, Justice Arundham Sinha today wrote a letter to Chief Justice expressing shock and pain over the Apex Court's order. The Supreme Court has relisted the case involving Justice Prashant Kumar for a hearing today that is all set to begin at 11 a.m. onwards. Aditya is joining us live from the National Capital on that. Aditya, this is a very key hearing that is awaited in the Supreme Court today. It is clear it is Supreme Court versus the High Court. What are we expecting? And before that, talk to us about what the case is all about. How did the controversy snowball into such a big thing today that the hearing is now relisted in the Supreme Court?
The first matter escalated after the Supreme Court made an observation on the matter coming from the Allahabad High Court. Now, matter in which Justice Pardiwala made those comments was about a criminal prosecution in a civil dispute. The Supreme Court in that matter questioned that how can a criminal prosecution, a criminal application can be allowed in a civil dispute regarding unpaid money. After which the matter escalated and a 13th judge from the Allahabad High Court wrote a letter to the CJI asking for a full court hearing and quoting, and I quote from the letter, that the Supreme Court does not have an administrative superintendence over the High Court. In this letter, they question whether the Supreme Court can question or Supreme Court can alter the roster, which is only the power of the High Court, of the concerned court. Now, in this matter, what today we are expected that the matter will be disposed of, which means we will get an order coming from the Supreme Court by the bench of Justice Pardiwala and by the Justice Mahadevan, of which they will decide what to happen in the order. So this comes after two. The first, the order, the last observation made by the Supreme Court, and second, after a 14th judge from the Allahabad High Court wrote a letter to the CJI requesting for a full court hearing.
Right, Aditya. Aditya, thank you very much for getting us those details. All eyes are now on the key Supreme Court hearing that will take place around 11 a.m. today. With that, we move on to some other stories that we are tracking here on this edition. The face-off between Rahul Gandhi and the Election Commission is heating up once again. This time, Rahul Gandhi has leveled serious allegations of large-scale vote theft in Karnataka and Maharashtra. The Election Commission has hit back, calling his claims misleading. In a new development, the Maharashtra State Election Commission has now issued a letter asking Rahul Gandhi to formally substantiate his allegations. Meanwhile, the BJP has launched a sharp counter-attack, dismissing his charges as completely baseless and politically driven. Here's a detailed report on the recent fight between Rahul Gandhi and the Election Commission and how BJP is reacting to that.
The fight between Rahul Gandhi and the Election Commission of India has escalated once again. After Karnataka, Maharashtra Election Commission issued a letter to Rahul Gandhi asking to sign declaration the EC has asked Rahul Gandhi to sign affidavit over his claims of vote theft. This comes after Rahul Gandhi alleged that the poll body was colluding with the BJP in vote theft. The allegations drew a sharp response as the election body dared Rahul Gandhi to take an oath and submit a declaration that he had found irregularities in the voter list.
There is circumstantial evidence. They do not give us the data. They give us the runaround. They have actively themselves said they're going to destroy CCTV footage. This is why they want to destroy it. They want to destroy it so that we cannot identify Shakun Rani voting twice. That's the truth of Indian democracy.
Meanwhile, the BJP launched scathing attack on Rahul Gandhi over his allegations against ECI, calling his remarks a peak of frustration and election rage.
राहुल गांधी का फ्रस्ट्रेशन की ये चरम सीमा है और मैं बहुत सोच समझ कर बोल रहा हूं। आज जिस प्रकार के शब्दों का प्रयोग किया गया है, क्या सड़क चलते किसी ऐसे व्यक्ति की जो रोड रेज में बोलता है? दिस लैंग्वेज इज द लैंग्वेज ऑफ इलेक्शन रेज।
Union Minister Kiran Rijiju hit out at Rahul Gandhi, saying that he is making bogus claims to tarnish the image of Election Commission of India.
श्रीमान राहुल गांधी जी ने फिर से इलेक्शन कमीशन को प्रहार किया है और एक एनजीओ ने बनाया हुआ कुछ प्रेजेंटेशन को फिर से दोहराया है। वही पुराना बात को फिर से वो दोहरा रहे हैं। मकसद इलेक्शन कमीशन को अटैक करना था। अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट को नहीं मानते हैं कांग्रेस पार्टी, इलेक्शन कमीशन को नहीं मानते हैं, तो फिर क्या चीज को मानते हैं?
Rijiju turned the Congress party criticism of Election Commission over alleged voter list manipulation as politically motivated, pointing out the Congress had played similar tactics wherever it lost, be it Maharashtra and Haryana. The Union Minister said that the party maligns constitutional institutions whenever decisions do not favor them. Amidst this, Rahul Gandhi organized a meeting at his residence with Indie bloc leaders over alleged issues in Bihar voter revision. At the meeting, Rahul Gandhi presented what he described as concrete evidence of widespread electoral rigging, directly accusing the ECI of colluding with the BJP to manufacture a victory in 2024 Lok Sabha election. A major political development to unfold today as Rahul Gandhi to stage protest in Bengaluru today against the ECI.
Comedian Kapil Sharma's newly opened cafe in Canada is literally under fire. In a shocking repeat of violence, his Surrey cafe has been attacked for the second time in just a month. While the first round of firing was claimed by a Khalistani terrorist, this latest attack has been linked to a gangster tied to the Lawrence Bishnoi syndicate. Two different outfits, one common target. It's Surrey becoming a safe haven for anti-India elements. Here's all that you need to know.
Round 2 of terror strikes Canada. Shots fired again at Kapil Sharma's Caps Cafe in Surrey. Barely a month after the first attack, the same spot, same target, and this time with an extended threat. A fresh wave of fear as bullets pierce through glass and calm. Gangster Goldie Dillon, claiming ties to Lawrence Bishnoi, took responsibility for the shooting. Cafe windows shattered, security panels blasted. Staff and locals left in shock as Canada's law and order takes another blow. This comes just weeks after Khalistani terrorist Harjeet Singh Luddi, wanted by NIA, claimed responsibility for the first round of gunfire on July 9th at the same cafe. Two groups, two attacks, but one target: Kapil Sharma's newly launched restaurant. From gang warfare to Khalistani terror, Surrey is turning into a breeding ground for the underworld. The Republic of Khalistan isn't just a slogan in Surrey. It's being carved in bullets and blood on foreign soil. A city caught in the crossfire of deadly power plays with India's most wanted terrorists waging war from a distance. Lawrence Bishnoi's network spreading tentacles across borders, exploiting Canada's laxity and India's stardom. And now, warnings of escalation, hints of a hit in Mumbai if the target doesn't listen. 2 rounds fired, but how many more to go? Who's next on this deadly list? And the big question is, will Canada finally wake up to the monster it's been breeding?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Delhi High Court has cleared the release of Udaipur Files, a film based on the murder of Kanhaiya Lal, a tailor from Rajasthan. The court dismissed a plea filed by one of the accused in the case, paving the way for the film to hit the theatres as scheduled today. Here's a detailed report on that.
The Delhi High Court cleared the decks for the release of Udaipur Files, rejecting a plea by Mohammad Javed, an accused in the Kanhaiya Lal murder case, seeking a stay on the film. The movie, which is based on the murder of Rajasthan-based tailor Kanhaiya Lal, is now set to release as scheduled today. The order came in response to a plea filed by an accused in the Kanhaiya Lal murder case, who argued that the film's content, allegedly mirroring the charge sheet, would severely prejudice his right to fair trial. The bench of Chief Justice D.K. Upadhyay and Justice Tushar Rao held that the petitioner had failed to establish a prima facie case to justice and interim restraint. On the question of balance of convenience, the court observed that no harm to the petitioner's right to fair trial is likely to result from the film's release. Rejecting the interim prayer, the court also took notice of the significant investment made by the producer and scheduled nationwide release of the film.
तो स्क्रीनिंग में वही सब कुछ देखा जो 3 साल पहले 28 जून को कन्हैया लाल जी की गली में सबने देखा, मालदा स्टेट में बहता खून वो पर्दे पे दिख रहा है, वो आंसू, वो दर्द, वो पीड़ा, वो चीख जो उदयपुर की गलियों में थी वो सिनेमा घर के पर्दे पे दिख रही है। तो आंख में आंसू आते हैं, पीड़ा होती है, दर्द होता है, तकलीफ होती है, लेकिन वो जरूरी है क्योंकि जब तक वो दर्द, पीड़ा, आंसू और वो चीख, वो तकलीफ महसूस होती रहेगी देश के सनातनियों को, जब तक उनका गला सुरक्षित रहेगा।
Notably, the central government on August 6th had cleared Udaipur Files for August 8th release after re-examination.
ये फिल्म एक सच्ची घटना पर आधारित है और सच बोलने से किसी को डर नहीं लगना चाहिए और मुझे ये भी लगता है कि इसमें सच्चाई भी दिखाई गई है और हर जो रिलीजन है उसमें अच्छाई भी दिखाई गई है और बुराई भी दिखाई गई है। एक रियल ह्यूमन नेचर दिखाया गया है इसमें और रियलिटी दिखाई गई है।
According to reports, the Ministry of I&B reviewed the film as per the court's instructions and subsequently dismissed the objections that earlier stalled its release. Kanhaiya Lal was brutally killed by 2 men inside his shop in broad daylight. A video of his beheading was also circulated on social media, leading to unrest in parts of Rajasthan.
And let's have a quick check of the other stories that we are tracking nationally. The Election Commission has issued the notification for the vice presidential election, officially kicking off the nomination process. The announcement has sparked political consultations across party lines as the race to replace the current vice president now begins. A tragic incident occurred near the fishing harbour in one town area of Visakhapatnam, where a gas cylinder exploded near the Himalaya bar. As per information, the explosion resulted in the immediate death of 2 individuals, as the scene reports suggest that the explosion was caused by a gas leak. In a show of unity, the NDA allies passed a resolution authorizing the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP chief JP Nadda to decide on the alliance's vice presidential nominee, signalling a consensus approach ahead of the elections. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi will head a protest rally in Bengaluru today, alleging vote theft in the Mahadevpura Assembly segment during last year's Lok Sabha elections. The protest targets what Congress calls election rigging. The Wrestling Federation of India has suspended 11 wrestlers for submitting fake birth certificates. MCD confirmed that 110 documents were verified, with 95 late registrations done under SDM orders denying any wrongdoing on its part. Amid ongoing rescue operations, the Army has restored satellite and relay communication in affected areas. Stranded civilians used Army-backed satellite calls to reach families, bringing relief and a vital morale boost. Adani Group Chairman and industrialist Gautam Adani addressed the students for IIM Lucknow and said India is poised to become a $25 trillion economic powerhouse by 2050, urging the next generation of leaders to step into the nation's unfolding moment with imagination, ambition, and courage. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke exclusively to Republic, sharing his Gaza plan. His reaction to Trump's proposed 25% plus additional 25% tariff on India, and how Israel supported India during Operation Sindoor. Here's a quick report on that.
Israel is under tremendous diplomatic pressure globally to end this war. And in the face of this kind of pressure for Netanyahu to say, no, in fact, I'm going to double down on my war on Hamas and intensify it further, then he has to have a ramp off, as the Americans would say. So his ramp off is, I can finish it off quickly, but provided Hamas demilitarizes. If they're not doing it on their own, we will go in, because we're done with all other wars, the seven-front war that they've had over the last year and a half with Hezbollah, with Houthis, with Iran, with the Syrian militias, and of course with the Hamas in Gaza. He said, we're going to double down on military operations. The war is going to intensify, and once it ends, with the complete decimation of Hamas, we want a government there, a good government there, but not of Hamas and not of Palestine Authority. The world community can come together and decide and give a good governance structure to the people of Gaza Strip, and Israel would be absolutely okay with that. So in a way, he was sort of assuaging the concerns that even as he is doubling down, he has no intention whatsoever to annex the Gaza Strip into Israel. The people of Gaza can live there, have their government, minus Hamas.
Moving on, singer Honey Singh and Karan Aujla have been summoned by the Punjab Women's Commission on August 11 over allegedly using objectionable language in their latest songs. The police have also been directed to investigate the matter. Here's the full story.
Rappers Yo-Yo Honey Singh and Karan Aujla are now facing legal heat. Their songs Millionaire and MF Gabru are accused of containing derogatory remarks against women. The Punjab Women's Commission has taken suo motu cognizance and sent summons to both the artists. The commission says that such lyrics promote a culture of misogyny and violence against women.
देखिए, ये सबने गाना सुना है और सभी इस बात पे ऑब्जेक्ट भी करते हैं, लेकिन ये भी रियलिटी है कि उनके मिलियंस व्यूज भी आ रहे हैं इसके ऊपर। तो जिम्मेवारी जो है ये हमारी अकेली सिर्फ विमेन कमीशन की नहीं है कि हम उसके ऊपर एक नोटिस लें। जो सुन रहा है, जो समाज है, उनकी भी जिम्मेवारी बनती है कि इस तरह की जो लैंग्वेज है इसको जो है बिल्कुल एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना चाहिए। और जो मैंने ये देखा है कि ये सिंगर जो गाने इसमें यूज़ हुए हैं, ना तो इसमें भाषा पे कंट्रोल रखा गया है, ना ही ये सोचा गया है कि जब हम स्टेज पे जाते हैं तब हम सबको बड़ी छाती पीट के कहते हैं कि मेरे ज़िंदगी में सबसे बड़ा रोल जो है वो मेरी माँ का है, उसकी हम बहुत इज्जत करते हैं, साथ ही साथ आप गाली निकाल लेते हैं।
Honey Singh and Karan Aujla have been asked to appear before the commission by August 10th. As per the commission, the songs popular among youth feature lyrics deemed highly objectionable and degrading.
The Punjab State Women Commission have taken a suo motu cognizance against the two Punjabi singers, Karan Aujla and Yo-Yo Hani Singh, for using objectionable words in their song against women. The Punjab Women Commission have complained to the Punjab DGP and have said that a detailed inquiry should be done regarding the two and a detailed report should be given before them till 11th of August. Apart from that, the Punjab Women Commission have summoned both the Punjabi singers till 11th August.
This is not the first time that Hani Singh has found himself in legal trouble over his lyrics. In December of 2024, he faced legal action for his song Makhna. As the controversy intensifies, one big question stands tall. Where does art end and accountability begin? For answers, all eyes on August 11th, when Yo-Yo Hani Singh and Karan Aujla are expected to face the panel.
It's time for us to slip into a quick commercial break, but after the break, we'll get you the details of how India is showing its global diplomacy. President of Brazil and Prime Minister holding talks. Details after the break. Also, Putin meets NSA Ajit Doval. Both of them discuss the tariff war that Trump has escalated. Inside details on that key meeting coming up right after a short break.
Amity is proud to announce the commencement of its 12th university in India, Amity University, Hyderabad. At the prime location of AeroCity Hyderabad Airport, has a strong focus on high-end research with brilliant students and distinguished faculty who share our mission to change the world together. To apply for this year's session, visit amity.edu/Hyderabad.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा। सबका राजा आरती और मसाला। देगी मिर्च। MDH की देगी मिर्च।
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Sports isn't just about medals and podiums. It is about heartbreak, challenges and discipline. It is also about leaders choosing sport to empower the community to live longer and healthier. I congratulate my friend Arnab and R4 Sports for championing these untold stories that we all need to hear and learn from. Here's wishing R4 Sports all the best.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा। सबका राजा आरती और मसाला।
Mujawar has been a part of the ATS team that investigated this Malegaon case, and what he has to say today is explosive. He's breaking the silence. Mahmood Mujawar ji, thank you. शुक्रिया हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए. First of all, आपको ये फैसला आज सुन के क्या लगा? Do you think justice has finally been done in the case, Mujawar ji?
बहुत अच्छा लगा सर. कहीं तो न्याय हो गया. और ये न्याय मिलाने के लिए जो आपने जद्दोजहद की, जो आपने कोशिश की, वो सही में काम आई सर. खास करके मैं निरंजन स्वामी का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ, जिन्होंने मेरा कोई तुम्हारे चैनल से कोई संबंध नहीं था, मगर मेरे
Brazil's president dials Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi says people-centric partnership between global South nations benefits everyone. Russian President Vladimir Putin receives National Security Advisor Ajit Doval as he holds a high-level talks with top Russian officials. Rahul Gandhi to hold protest march against Election Commission in Bengaluru today over his vote theft claim. After a long legal battle, movie Udaipur fails to release today as the Delhi High Court dismisses pleas seeking stay. And Kapil Sharma's cafe attacked for the second time in less than a month. At least 6 shots fired. Investigation underway. Viewers, we have big breaking news coming in from Tamil Nadu. AIADMK General Secretary has been on a statewide campaign ahead of Tamil Nadu elections in 2026. He was seen yesterday in Srivilliputtur constituency for campaigning, and he has said that the people are clear in their resolve to overthrow the DMK regime that has ruined Tamil Nadu. So, AIADMK General Secretary launched his statewide tour that he did on Monday, and this is for the 2026 Assembly elections. And yesterday, he was in the Srivilliputtur constituency for campaigning, and he has been asserting that the DMK rule has ruined the state of Tamil Nadu, and he said people are looking for change. So remember, Tamil Nadu elections are slated for 2026, and EPS has kicked off his statewide tour of the campaign. And his campaign is titled, "We Will Save People and Retrieve Tamil Nadu." All right, our colleague Sharda is now joining us for more. Sharda, what details do you have? Of course, EPS has launched a statewide campaign since Monday, and we can see crowds and crowds of people are there. And there was a road show, and he was in the constituency of Srivilliputtur yesterday. Give us more details. All right, let's take a look at the report that has been filed by my colleague Sharda.
Well, the 2026 elections is just 8 months away, and we can see the entire state of Tamil Nadu gearing up for the elections. So the first set was in the southern state, which included the western Nilgiris, Coimbatore, and down south Tenkasi and Tirunelveli. And the second space is now the Madurai, where Madurai is becoming a strong space for the AIADMK and BJP to tap into, because that is the special part of Tamil Nadu which had been constantly opposing the DMK government in the state. And we can see how where now they have been calling the Edappadi Paliswamy, the future chief minister, and this fresh rally, which is the second phase right now, shows how strong the AIADMK is. Though there is 8 months still left for the elections, the fire among the people when they see the AIADMK leader is huge, especially when it is here in Madurai. Erode being his hometown, Edappadi Paliswamy has tried to make sure that even the center of the state of Tamil Nadu, which is Madurai, Rajapalayam, Srivilliputtur and the other places, have the AIADMK.
And let's get to some international news. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaks exclusively to Republic. And in this conversation, he shared his Gaza plan, his reaction to Donald Trump's proposed 25% tariffs on India, and how Israel supported India during Operation Sindoor. Watch this special report.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has spoken to Republic.
An hour and a half back, and it was a freewheeling conversation which lasted for about 45 minutes. Prime Minister giving that much time is actually, it underscores the kind of importance his government and he personally gives to Israel's relationship with India.
Netanyahu expressed hope that India and the US will soon find a solution to the escalating tariff dispute between India and the United States. Netanyahu voiced strong support for India's position in the ongoing tariff dispute, saying there is a basic understanding in Washington DC that India is a solid partner. Netanyahu emphasized the importance of dialogue and cooperation between both the nations to resolve the issue.
Ongoing turbulence between India and the United States because of the tariff war of President Trump finds an amicable solution. He said that both are great democracies, both are great, he said, terrific partnerships, and Washington DC sees India as a standout nation in Asia, and so both should be sitting together and sorting it out.
Not only this, but the Israeli Prime Minister also revealed his Gaza plan. As per Netanyahu, Israel will continue to intensify the war as their aim is to wipe out Hamas terrorists. As part of the post-war plan, Netanyahu revealed that Gaza will be handed over to a new governing body.
Second most important takeaway, of course, was that he said that Israel is going to, increase its military operations in the Gaza Strip. So the war against Hamas is going to see increased intensity going forward. We don't know for how long it will go. He said that we would want to make it a short and quick one to decimate Hamas completely. If Hamas wants, they can surrender all arms tomorrow and the war can end tomorrow. But then peace cannot be on Hamas's terms. Peace would be from a position of strength on Israeli terms. And that's why, having done with the Iran war, now Prime Minister Netanyahu is now completely focusing on finishing Hamas in Gaza.
Netanyahu made it clear that the war's primary objective remains the complete destruction of Hamas and the return of all Israeli hostages.
And viewers, we have big breaking news coming in from West Bengal. Union Minister Dr. Sukanta Majumdar has condemned a brutal attack on an 8-month pregnant Hindu woman in Bihar's Cooch Behar district. Now, according to Majumdar's post on X, the woman was allegedly kicked in the stomach by Trinamool Congress supporters for actively supporting the BJP. The incident occurred in the Shalmara area of Dinhata constituency. Sukanta described this assault as barbaric and he criticized the lawlessness under the TMC rule. He also questioned the silence of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee despite the increasing acts of violence against women in the state. And he wrote on X, shameful. And he also urged the Chief Minister to take responsibility for the safety of Bengal's citizens. All right, let's move on to the bulletin now. In a major diplomatic signal, Vladimir Putin has confirmed that talks are underway for a summit with US President Donald Trump, potentially hosted by the UAE. Now, this meeting could mark a critical turn in efforts to end the Russia-Ukraine war. Here are all the details.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that the United Arab Emirates is being considered as a possible venue for his meeting with US President Donald Trump. The announcement came after Putin's talks with UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in the Kremlin just a day before a White House deadline for Moscow to show progress on ending the war in Ukraine. Putin also said he is open to meeting Ukrainian President Zelensky under the right conditions, but added that such conditions are still far from reality. Putin's advisor Yuri Ushakov had earlier said the Trump-Putin meeting could happen as early as next week, although no date has been finalized.
Варианта трехсторонней встречи, о которой вчера почему-то заговорили в Вашингтоне, то этот вариант был просто упомянут американским представителем в ходе встречи в Кремле. Но этот вариант конкретно не обсуждался. Российская сторона этот вариант оставила совсем.
It was not clear how the announcement of the meeting would affect Trump's Friday deadline for Russia to stop the killing or face heavy economic sanctions. The meeting would be the first US-Russia summit since 2021, when former President Joe Biden met Putin in Geneva. It would be a significant milestone towards Trump's effort to end the violence, although there's no guarantee it would stop the fighting since Moscow and Kyiv remain far apart on the conditions for peace. The confirmation follows the visit of Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff to Moscow, signaling back-channel efforts to de-escalate the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Following that visit, US Secretary Marco Rubio said the US now has a clear understanding of Russia's demands to end the war. However, Moscow's key conditions include a full halt to US aid to Ukraine, official recognition of Russian-occupied territories, and elections inside Ukraine, something Kyiv opposes under martial law. In past, Russia has also warned against any rushed peace deal, recalling how the 2014 Minsk agreement, which was meant to end the war in eastern part of Ukraine, which mainly has Russian-speaking population. However, the ceasefire quickly collapsed and Russia alleges that its conditions regarding protection of Russian-speaking population wasn't considered. At the core of Russia's position is its opposition to NATO's eastward expansion. But with over $500 billion already invested, the US is unlikely to exit the conflict anytime soon.
Let's move on the bulletin now. In a major diplomatic push, US President Donald Trump is hosting the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan in Washington. The high-stakes summit aims to break decades of deadlock and usher in lasting peace in the South Caucasus. Here are all the details.
US President Donald Trump is hosting the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan in Washington this week for a crucial peace summit. The meeting could advance a long-anticipated peace agreement, one that bypasses Moscow's influence entirely. After nearly 4 decades of conflict, Baku and Yerevan may finally chart a path to peace, this time under Washington's watch. Holding the talks at the White House signals both nations intend to pivot away from Russia and towards the West. For Trump, the summit strengthens his push to reassert US leadership in the Eurasian region. The Zengezur corridor remains the most contentious issue, connecting Azerbaijan to its Nakhchivan exclave via Armenian territory. Azerbaijan wants full control of the corridor without interference from Russia, Europe, or even the US. Yerevan, however, fears losing sovereignty and insists the route remain fully under Armenian control. The corridor has the potential to reshape not just regional trade routes, but the entire South Caucasus geopolitical landscape. With Moscow distracted by Ukraine and losing grip on its traditional sphere, US sees a chance to fill the void.
Let's get you some more news from across the world. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has defended his country's right to participate in potential peace talks between the leaders of Russia and the United States. He said that it is right for Ukraine to be participant in the negotiations. Now, this comes hours after Russian President Vladimir Putin said that he hoped to meet next week with US President Donald Trump, possibly in the UAE. However, a White House official has cast doubt on the summit taking place unless the Kremlin leader also agreed to meet with Zelensky. Myint Swe, who became Myanmar's acting president under controversial circumstances after military ousted the elected government more than 4 years ago, has died. According to a statement from Myanmar's Military Information Office, he died at a military hospital in the capital, Naypyidaw. A plane belonging to an air ambulance service provider crashed into a residential area just outside Kenya's capital. The plane was en route to Somaliland when it crashed. The service provider has not disclosed the number of casualties or the cause of the crash, but said that it is cooperating fully with relevant aviation authorities and emergency response teams to establish the facts surrounding the situation. Cambodia has joined Pakistan and Israel in nominating US President Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, crediting him with visionary and innovative diplomacy that ended the border clashes with Thailand. In a letter to the Norwegian Nobel Committee, Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet wrote that he wished to nominate Donald Trump in recognition of his historic contributions in advancing world peace. Cambodia and Thailand have agreed to allow observers from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, that is ASEAN, to monitor a fragile ceasefire that ended 5 days of deadly border clashes last month. Cambodian Defence Minister and Thailand's Acting Defence Minister concluded 4 days of talks in Kuala Lumpur, where they agreed to the terms of the Malaysia-brokered truce. Both sides pledged to maintain the freeze on the border troop movements and patrols. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel intends to fully take military control of Gaza despite mounting criticism at home and abroad over the nearly 2-year-old war in the Palestinian enclave. And Lebanon's cabinet has reopened talks on dismantling Hezbollah, a move that the group has rejected. Now, the push follows the US pressure with envoy Tom Barak visiting Beirut repeatedly, and the Hezbollah has called the move a great sin, and according to the Lebanese government, and it accused the government of bowing to the American as well as Israeli demands. Here are all the details.
Lebanon's cabinet has reconvened to deliberate the plan to disarm Hezbollah, a move the group has outrightly rejected. The renewed push follows mounting pressure from Washington, with US envoy Tom Barak visiting Beirut several times in recent weeks. Officials say a disarmament timetable was presented, and the Lebanese military has been tasked to finalize the plan by the end of 2025. This is Lebanon's boldest move since its civil war ended 30 years ago, when all militias except Hezbollah surrendered arms. But Hezbollah remains defiant, calling the cabinet's decision a grave sin and vowing to ignore it completely. The group's parliamentary bloc accused the government of bowing to American-Israeli demands. Iran, Hezbollah's top backer, has dismissed the plan, with a senior IRGC commander saying it will never come to fruition. Hezbollah and its ally Amal have already pulled their ministers from the cabinet to trigger a no-confidence vote. Meanwhile, Israel has warned that if Hezbollah doesn't agree to the cabinet's demands, Israel would restart the military offensive in the region.
Now, news from Europe. France is battling its largest wildfire in decades. One person has been killed and 13 others, including 11 firefighters, have been injured. And the fire was so massive that it turned an area which is as big as Paris into a landscape of devastation. Here's the full report.
Saint-Laurent-de-Cabarets, a commune in France beloved for its wineries, turned into a landscape of total devastation. 13 people were injured, 1 dead, and many still missing. France has witnessed its largest wildfire in 75 years. Strong winds caused the fire to spread exceptionally fast. The wildfire has burned through an area larger than Paris, though it has slowed overnight but not yet under control. Over 2,000 fighters and 500 firefighting vehicles have been deployed in the region. According to National Emergency Service, this was the biggest wildfire since creation of National Wildfire Database in 2006. French Prime Minister François Bayrou also visited the area affected by the fire. He called the wildfire a catastrophe of an unprecedented scale. Bayrou also warned that there could be more such disasters in the coming decades as a result of global warming, although it is still not clear how and what started the fire. Efforts continue to battle France's largest wildfire in decades.
And viewers, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaks exclusively to Republic, sharing his Gaza plan, his reaction to Donald Trump's proposed 25% tariffs on India, and also how Israel supported India during Operation Sindoor. Here's a quick report.
Israel is under tremendous diplomatic pressure globally to end this war. And in the face of this kind of pressure for Netanyahu to say, no, in fact, I'm going to double down on my war on Hamas and intensify it further, then he has to have a ramp off, as the Americans would say. So here's the ramp off is, I can finish it off quickly, but provided Hamas demilitarizes. If they're not doing it on their own, we will go in, because we are done with all other wars, the 7-front war that they've had over the last year and a half with Hezbollah, with Houthis, with Iran, with the Syrian militias, and of course with the Hamas in Gaza. He said, we are going to double down on military operations. The war is going to intensify, and once it ends with the complete decimation of Hamas, we want a government there, a good government there, but not of Hamas and not of Palestine Authority. The world community can come together and decide and give a good governance structure to the people of Gaza Strip, and Israel would be absolutely okay with that. So in a way, he was sort of assuaging the concerns that even as he is doubling down, he has no intention whatsoever to annex the Gaza Strip into Israel. The people of Gaza can live there, have their government minus Hamas.
Let's get you some news from the world of business. AU Small Finance Bank becomes the first small finance bank to receive RBI's in-principle approval to transition into a universal bank. This will expand its product reach and lending base. Notably, after over 11 years, the Reserve Bank of India has approved an entity to become a universal bank. Family office of Sunil Bharti Mittal has asked the SBM to sell a 0.8% stake in telecom major Bharti Airtel. He will raise up to 9,300 crore rupees via block deals, and the sale proceeds are likely to be channeled towards the purchase of a stake in Higher India. Gems and Jewellery's exports body GJEPC has urged the government to bring in policy reforms to support the industry. The US is the largest market for Indian gems and jewellery sector, accounting for over $10 billion in exports, nearly 30% of the industry's total global trade. India's oldest exchange, BSE, on Thursday came out with its Q1 FY26 results. And the BSE has reported a 103.4% year-on-year spike in net profits at 539 crore rupees, up from 265 crore rupees last year. The results came after the close of the market hours on 7th of August. Shares of the BSE ended at 2,442.2 rupees, up 2.29% on the NSE. The mutual fund industry experienced strong growth in the new systematic investment plan, also called as SIP registrations. 1.67 crore accounts were added in the quarter that ended June 2025. This was mainly driven by resilient retail participation despite market volatility. And now let's get you all the sporting action. Here is the sports wrap. Veteran Indian cricketer Dinesh Karthik rushed to fast bowler Jasprit Bumrah's defence and spoke about the veteran pacer's importance to the Indian cricket team. Bumrah only played 3 tests in the England series, and reports also suggest that he sustained a knee injury, which ruled him out of the final test. The Board of Control for Cricket in India has received a major relief from the Sports Ministry, as a crucial amendment has reportedly ensured that the richest cricketing body in the world will not come under the ambit of the Right to Information Act. The BCCI will remain an autonomous body under the National Sports Governance Bill. Former India head coach Gary Kirsten was pleased about the success of Gautam Gambhir and his troops that they achieved in England during their riveting inaugural edition of the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy. He also emphasized that India has a strong sporting culture. Tokyo Olympics bronze-winning boxer Lovlina Borgain's allegations of disrespectful and gender-discriminatory behavior against National Federation's Executive Director Colonel Arun Malik are being investigated, and a report would be submitted soon, a Sports Authority of India official has said. Viewers, it's time to take a short break. Coming up ahead, Rahul Gandhi is to hold a protest march against the Election Commission of India in Bengaluru over his vote theft claim. And the other big story that we are tracking, after a long legal battle, the movie Udaipur File is set to release today. And this after the Delhi High Court dismissed the plea seeking a stay. So those big stories and much more coming up after a short break. Stay with us.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
The Indian economy has been the fastest growing G20 economy for 8 of the last 11 years. And those are the only 8 in the last 77 years, during which India has been the largest, has been the fastest growing economy among the G20. So during the years that Rahul Gandhi's family ruled India, India's per capita income was declining relative to the rest of the world.
Amity is proud to announce the commencement of its 12th university in India, Amity University, Hyderabad. At the prime location of AeroCity Hyderabad Airport, has a strong focus on high-end research with brilliant students and distinguished faculty who share our mission to change the world together. To apply for this year's session, visit amity.edu/Hyderabad.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
इंडिया सोना। MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे ये खुशबू दे ये तीखा ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये ही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है, अरे मेरी राजा
राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
इंडिया सोना।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
The Indian economy has been the fastest growing G20.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Good morning, viewers. The Republic Media Network is set to launch the Hour for Sports anthem, and that roars with the voice of a billion dreams. #Main Bharat Hoon. Main Bharat Hoon ignites India's sporting spirit like never before. It is the rhythm of resilience with pulse of passion and the heartbeat of every Indian athlete. From the gullies to the grand stages, from the grassroots to glory, this anthem belongs to every Indian. A sporting roar, a national call, and a billion dreams. Join us for the launch of the sports anthem of the year, R for Sports, Main Bharat Hoon, today at 5:30 p.m. And the headlines: Donald Trump rules out trade talks with India amid tariff dispute. Israeli Security Cabinet approves Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to take over Gaza.
Supreme Court to again hear case in which it had rebuked High Court or judge for absurd order. Actor Huma Qureshi's cousin killed in Delhi's Nizamuddin over parking dispute. 2 arrested. After a long legal battle, Udaipur files to release today as Delhi High Court dismisses plea seeking a stay. AIADMK's EPS kickstarts AIADMK 2026 poll drive in Tamil Nadu, takes a jibe on Stalin government. Viewers, beginning with the big breaking news coming in, US President Donald Trump has said that there will be no trade negotiations with India until a dispute over tariffs is resolved, following his administration's decision to double the tariffs on Indian imports. When pressed by ANI at the Oval Office whether he expected talks to resume in light of the new 50% tariffs. So breaking news coming in, viewers, that we are tracking for you. No negotiations with India until disputes on tariffs is resolved is what Donald Trump has now said.
To follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
Mr. President. To follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
Mr. President.
Well, of course, viewers, that was Donald Trump, as you rightly heard there. He said that there will be no trade negotiations with India until the dispute over tariffs is resolved. Remember, India has called this move of doubling the tariffs to 50% against India, as Trump goes ahead and says that India continues to buy oil from Russia, and this is somewhere, as per the United States president, fueling the fight between Russia and Ukraine. But now Donald Trump has said that he is going to resume the trade talks only when there is a resolution for the tariffs or the problem at this point in time between both the nations regarding tariffs are concerned. So 50% tariffs on Indian imports already imposed by Donald Trump, and this is fresh breaking update coming in that Donald Trump said there will be no trade negotiations with India until a dispute over tariffs is resolved. This is one of the worst that we can see in between India and United States relations that have come. It's the lowest that we are witnessing at this point in time. Although Trump goes ahead and says that India is a very, very close friend, but double standards now coming in from sides of Donald Trump as he continues to counter India, and India's response very well moving forward, saying that this is an unreasonable and unjust move. Principal Deputy Spokesperson for the U.S. Department of State, Tommy Pigott, has also issued a statement on the same. Listen in.
In terms of India, is the president has been very clear in terms of the concerns he has regarding the trade imbalance, regarding the concerns he has when it comes to the purchase of Russian oil. You've seen him take action directly on that, and I refer you to the president's comments for that. India is a strategic partner with whom we engage in a full and frank dialogue. That'll continue. The Secretary also spoke to that. Like anything in foreign policy, you're not going to align 100% of the time on everything. But it is very clear, the president's been clear, the concerns that he has with the trade imbalance, the concerns he has with India purchasing Russian oil. He's been clear on that. He's taken action, and I refer you to his comments for further on that.
And at this point in time, viewers, as you have rightly heard there, Tommy Pigott also making a statement regarding the same lines as Donald Trump has also gone ahead and said. We will be taking this conversation forward with a very important guest joining us. Dr. Dheeraj Kaul is a geopolitical expert currently in USA. Thank you, Mr. Kaul, for joining us this morning. Now, back to back, there are several updates coming in from the side of Donald Trump as he continues to double down on India. And now he says that there will be no trade talks until the tariff issue is resolved. How do you view this?
Namaskar. Thank you for having me on the show. These are very complicated times, and I wish I had a good news for you, but we've been watching this story on your show as well as locally here. It's getting every single day closer to the worst case scenario. So as you know, India is holding up the grounds under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, which is very important to protect the three areas where the trade negotiations are stuck. One is the agri products, another one is the dairy, and the third is the fisheries. Those are the products which are lifelines, if I may call it, for 60% of the population managing the agricultural, dairy, and fisheries. So there's no room for wiggling there. But rest of the areas like energy, India definitely needs cheap energy, which is the right of India as well. And even in 2022, when this started, Biden had given a green signal to India to get energy from Russia so that the prices of crude don't go up. So India actually helped. But at this point, I think the issue is this is the tug of war going on between the Putin and Trump. And they're trying to isolate Putin by taking away the energy, the financial resources of Russia, by curtailing the oil purchase by India as well as China. But with China, we don't have much room to wiggle because rare earth metals are with China, which are essential in any semiconductor, space, EVs, you name it, electronics. So we cannot survive without that. So that is why you are seeing there is a big backlash coming from China, and we have no escalation going on there. But at the same time, I keep coming back to the story of AI, which is the biggest revolution right now, in which India is a strategical partner as well. And we all here, Indian diaspora is praying and hoping that sane minds prevail and there is a good trade deal struck between India and the tariffs come down. And I do personally believe this is the negotiation tactic, and the tariffs will come down. Unfortunately, this last statement which you are making, which we have been hearing, is jeopardizing the next round of talks, which is happening in New Delhi, ministerial level talk from the 25th, 27th onwards of August. So it seems like those talks would be meaningless if we go by this statement.
Absolutely. Dr. Kaul, I would request you to stay on with us as we continue to break this big information coming in this morning. US President Donald Trump has said that there will be no trade negotiations with India until the dispute over tariffs is resolved, following his administration's decision to double the tariffs on Indian imports. And this is when he was pressed by ANI at the Oval Office whether he expected talks to resume in light of the new 50% tariff. He's gone ahead and said that there will be no negotiations until things get resolved.
Follow up on the India tariffs. Do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
Mr. President. To follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
Mr. President.
Dr. Kaul, let me come back to you. And, at this point in time, we have very clearly heard that a strong message from the side of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he continues to stand strong against Donald Trump. And he says that he is not going to negotiate this particular move by Trump. And he said that he's ready to pay a personal price as well, and that he's not going to compromise on, the people, the farmers, the fishermen. So how do you see this?
I think that's portraying what a real leader does to protect the national interest and the interest of the people. He's not budging under the pressure. The other person we saw is Xi Jinping of China as well. But you have to understand they had a very big leverage of rare earth and the supply chain, which is basically run by China. But having said that, you see, I work in the healthcare sector as well, and the pharmaceuticals, we are anticipating generic medications around 30 to 40% are coming from India. And if this tariff kicks in, generic medications have a very small margin. So it will technically kill that area, and you'll see a 20 to 40% drop in the medications. The rise of the price rise of generic medications will be up to 40% in US, which will affect people living here day to day, and it will increase the cost of health insurance. There will be a big deficit of the health as well. Other thing which will be big time affected is textile and apparel, which will go up. Inflation will go up by 10 to 25% in US if this 50% tariff kicks in. Auto parts, it will affect 5 to 10% of across the United States of inflation going up. And in electronics and electrical, if you dissect by the category, it will affect up to 8%. Agri products, in which we basically import rice, spices, seafoods, and rice as in basmati, we are anticipating the price, the retail price going up by 25%. So it will affect a lot of consumers here in US as well. And I think this is a lose-lose situation for both sides, especially in the times of AI revolution, which we are going through, in which India is an essential partner if US wants to maintain the lead from China, which is coming very close in the AI race. So I really hope and pray, and all of us do, that we strike a good trade deal which helps both sides of the Atlantic, and it creates the new growth engine instead of this digressing into this trade war, which is not going to help anybody.
Absolutely. Very rightly mentioned there, Dr. Dheeraj Kaul. Appreciate you joining us this morning and giving your opinion and taking the conversation forward. We will be continue to get in more voices and build into this particular story, because at this point in time, in fact, the principal deputy spokesperson for the US Department of State, Tommy Pigott, has also issued a same statement. Listen in.
I can say in terms of India is the president has been very clear in terms of the concerns he has regarding the trade imbalance, regarding the concerns he has when it comes to the purchase of Russian oil. You've seen him take action directly on that, and I refer you to the president's comments for that. India is a strategic partner with whom we engage in a full and frank dialogue. That'll continue. The secretary also spoke to that. Like anything in foreign policy, you're not going to align 100% of the time on everything. But it is very clear, the president's been clear, the concerns that he has with the trade imbalance, the concerns he has with India purchasing Russian oil. He's been clear on that. He's taken action, and I refer you to his comments for further on that.
Well, viewers, as the US intensifies trade pressure on India, New Delhi is sending a very, very strong message of strategic autonomy. NSA Ajit Doval is in Moscow, reinforcing deep-rooted ties with Russia. And this, even as External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar prepares to follow. With President Putin set to visit India soon, the global diplomacy is clearly shifting gears. Here's more.
While US President Donald Trump ramps up the trade war with India,
We've made a lot of progress, and as you know, we put a 50% tariff on India on oil. They're the second largest. They're very close to China in terms of the purchase of oil from Russia. But so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we've had very productive talks today. Yes, ma'am?
If you do reach a deal with Ukraine and Russia, would you drop the additional tariffs on India?
Well, we'll determine that later, but right now they're paying a 50% tariff.
National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is in Moscow, and he met with Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu. A sure-shot reaffirmation of bilateral ties, Russia remains a high-value partner for India.
We have got a very special relationship, a long relationship, and we highly value our strategic partnership. We have had high-level engagements, and these high-level engagements have contributed very substantially. We are very excited and delighted to learn about the visit of His Excellency the President of Russia, President Putin, to India. I think that the dates are almost finalized now. The more important thing is this, that is, these summit meetings have always been the watershed points.
While Russia says they are committed to furthering cooperation with India. Another highlight of the meeting was the announcement of Putin's visit to India. NSA Doval confirmed that the Russian premier was due to visit soon. With Doval in Moscow and Putin's impending visit, the message to Washington could not be more clear. That for India, economic sovereignty and national interest is paramount. And if the West has drawn a plan to target India, then it's game on.
हमारे लिए अपने किसानों का हित सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है। भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं। मेरे देश के किसानों के लिए, मेरे देश के मछुआरों के लिए, मेरे देश के पशुपालकों के लिए आज भारत तैयार है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to chair a high-level cabinet meeting today at 1 p.m. to evaluate the consequences of the US raising tariffs on Indian exports. This move by Washington, linked to India's continued oil imports from Russia, has sharply intensified trade tensions between the two nations. Disaster relief and rescue work continues for the second consecutive day to evacuate people trapped in the Dharali Harsal flash floods. Chinook and Mi-17 V5 helicopters of the IAF, along with C-295 and AN-32 transport aircraft, have been deployed for rescue work, and people are being brought to the Malti helipad. The Indian Air Force assets evacuated 226 civilians, inducted nearly 130 NDRF, SDRF and IAF personnel, and airlifted 20 tons of relief material. Actor Huma Qureshi's cousin Asif Qureshi was murdered in Delhi's Nizamuddin area after a dispute over parking on Thursday. He was attacked when he asked two men to move their scooter from his house gate. Two suspects have been arrested and an investigation is ongoing. India, which is currently OpenAI's second largest market, could soon become its largest. This was revealed by CEO Sam Altman as the company unveiled its next generation model, GPT-5, hailing India as an incredibly fast-growing market. Altman noted that the remarkable pace at which Indian citizens and businesses are adopting artificial intelligence. All right, viewers, now let's shift our focus and get you some more news coming in. Breaking developments that we are tracking at this point in time. Allahabad High Court judge urged the CJI to defy Supreme Court order, seek full court meeting. At least 13 judges of the Allahabad High Court have written to Chief Justice Arun Bansali for convening a full court meeting against the Supreme Court's recent order against Justice Prashant Kumar. In a drastic direction issued on August 4, the bench of Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Justice R. Mahadevan urged the High Court Chief Justice to strip Justice Kumar of criminal roster till his retirement and make him sit in the division bench with a seasoned senior judge of the High Court. The direction and scathing remarks against Justice Kumar were passed for his verdict that criminal prosecution could be used as an alternative means to recover money in civil disputes. Now, according to official sources, Justice Arindam Sinha today wrote a letter to the Chief Justice expressing shock and pain over the apex court order. The Supreme Court has re-listed the case involving Justice Prashant Kumar for a hearing today. My colleague Shambhavi is joining us live from outside the Supreme Court to give us more inputs in terms of this story. Shambhavi, the Allahabad High Court judges have urged the CJ to defy Supreme Court orders seeking a full court meeting, and at least 13 judges of the Allahabad High Court have written to the Chief Justice for covering a full court meeting against the Supreme Court's recent order against Justice Prashant Kumar. Help us understand the entire story that has panned out.
Well, definitely. This started with a case which involved a chemical company. Now, there was a chemical company and a supplier. The supplier said and filed a civil dispute that I've supplied the goods and this company is refusing to pay me my money. Apart from this civil, the supplier also filed a criminal petition saying that because this is a breach of trust, this is also cheating. Now, when the company approached High Court, that was before Justice Prashant Kumar, the justice in question, they said that this is a matter of recovery of money. This is a civil dispute. Then please quash the criminal summons that has been issued against me, in which Justice Prashant Kumar said that no, because usually civil proceedings, civil takes a lot of time, and we are going to stick with the criminal proceedings. We are going to let the supplier use the criminal criminal trial way to get the money. Now, the same order has been heavily criticized by the bench of Justice Pardiwala and Mahadevan. They have said that criminal trial cannot be used as a way of substitute in the case of civil matters. And they said that this is probably one of the most erroneous judgment or order that they've ever seen. And following this, there were few decisions taken. They've remanded the case back to the Allahabad High Court, saying that a fresh judge, somebody else, will look into the matter. And they've also said that Justice Prashant Kumar will be stripped of all the criminal cases that will be in his roster. And if at all he sits on a division bench, he will he'll be accompanied by a senior judge in this matter. Following this, 13 judges of the Allahabad High Court are very angry on this. They've written a letter to the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, and they said that this cannot be the way how things should be. This is a breach of judicial federalism. So, yes, we are looking forward to see what the Supreme Court is going to talk about this.
Right, Shamba, we appreciate you joining us. Let me go across to Satyam Singh is a Supreme Court advocate. Appreciate you giving your time and speaking with us on Republic. Advocate Satyam Singh. Now, an order by the Supreme Court banning an Allahabad High Court judge from hearing the criminal cases has literally snowballed into a major face-off in the higher judiciary, with at least 13 High Court judges have written to the Chief Justice Arun Bhansali urging him to defy the top court's order and convene a full court meeting. How do you see this development?
See, Riyanka, the point is this: the way Justice Pardiwala had taken action, it is very strong, and something it is not required as well. He could have taken a proper procedural way. And if we see the tradition, then the Chief Justice of any High Court is the master of the roster, the way the Chief Justice of India is the master of the roster of the Supreme Court. If there is anything, then the High Court, the Chief Justice of the High Court has right to take the action. And there should be a proper way, right? The way the Justice Pardiwala, I cannot favor the Justice Pardiwala the way he has remarked against the Justice Prashant Kumar in such way. And see, there must be a fault, and there is that is why there is a forum, there is a lower court, then there is a High Court, and there is a Supreme Court. If there is a wrong finding in the High Court judgment, you have all the right to revert that judgment. Rather than commenting this way, you are questioning your own authority, you are questioning your own judicial accountability. There might be a problem in the judgment, but the way he has taken the words like erroneous and the mockery of the justice, he is ashamed of, all these words are not required in my opinion. That is why all the 13 judges came into favor of the Justice Prashanta Kumar. And I think today Justice Pardiwala, not even Justice Pardiwala, and Justice India must hear this matter in a very serious manner, because this raised several questions among the common people, and the way the faith will be, kept away from the common people in the judiciary. The way people have a faith in the judiciary, such kind of remarks coming from the Supreme Court, that too against the High Court judges, nowadays it has become very common. So I think if there is something, then there must be a procedural way. You cannot breach. You are right that you are sitting on the top court, but you cannot breach the traditional protocol. So Justice Pardiwala, in my opinion, Justice Pardiwala have broken the traditional protocol. It is not the call of the Justice Pardiwala to take such kind of action. And to just, he can only suggest and he can entirely take the action.
Right. Also, you know, as you rightly mentioned at this point in time, your opinion in this regard. But what is expected today? Because the matter has been relisted for today, and there is already anger which is mounting amongst the, people of the High Court, the higher judiciary. What do we expect from the Supreme Court relisting the matter today?
See, the way all 13 judges had come in the favor of Justice Prashanta Kumar, I think it is very positive sign to show the unity of the entire administration of the High Court, Allahabad High Court. And I think today Justice Pardiwala and whatever bench will hear it, it should hear with a serious manner. I think something positive will come out, in my opinion, and such kind of comments should be debarred. On the one hand, just Riyanka, I tell you, just few days back, if I remember, the Supreme Court judges only say that don't pass the personal comment on the advocates, don't pass the personal comment in the cases. And now again you are passing the personal comment on your own colleague. So how is it justified when you do something, then it is justified. When somebody else do something, then it is not justified.
Right. All right, Advocate Satyam Singh Rajput, appreciate you joining us and giving your time. And speaking on Republic, now moving on, viewers, Republic Media Network is all set to launch the Yaar for Sports anthem that roars with the voice of a billion dreams, hashtag Main Bharat Hoon. Main Bharat Hoon ignites India's sporting spirit like never before, and it is the rhythm of resilience, the pulse of passion and the heartbeat of every Indian athlete. From the gullies to the grand stages and from the grassroots to glory, this anthem belongs to every Indian. A sporting roar, a national call, a billion dreams. Join us for the launch of the sports anthem of this year, R for Sports, hashtag Main Bharat Hoon, today at 5:30 p.m. Coming up on the other side, Israeli security cabinet approves Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to take over Gaza. And also tracking, after a long legal battle, Udaipur files to re-release today as Delhi High Court dismisses plea seeking stay. Stay tuned. We will come right back after this break.
Amity is proud to announce the commencement of its 12th university in India, Amity University, Hyderabad. At the prime location of AeroCity Hyderabad Airport, has a strong focus on high-end research with brilliant students and distinguished faculty who share our mission to change the world together. To apply for this year's session, visit amity.edu/Hyderabad.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Mujawar has been a part of the ATS team that investigated this Malegaon case, and what he has to say today is explosive. He's breaking the silence. Mahmood Mujawar ji, thank you. शुक्रिया हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए. First of all, आपको ये फैसला आज सुन के क्या लगा? Do you think justice has finally been done in the case?
Hello and welcome. You're watching Live and Breaking at 9:30 a.m. I am Tanisha Avasthi. Ladies and gentlemen, Republic Media Network is set to launch the R for Sports anthem that roars with voice of a billion dreams. Main Bharat Hu. Main Bharat Hu ignites India's sporting spirit like never before. It is the rhythm of resilience, the pulse of passion, and the heartbeat of every Indian athlete. From the gullies to the grand stages, from grassroots to glory, this anthem belongs to every Indian. A sporting roar, a national call, a billion dreams. Join us for the launch of the sports anthem of the year, R for Sports, Main Bharat Hu, today at sharp 5:30 p.m. Let's now get started with the headlines.
To follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
Donald Trump rules out trade talks with India amid tariff dispute. Israeli Security Cabinet approves Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to take over Gaza. Supreme Court to hear again case in which it had rebuked the High Court judge for an absurd order. Actor Huma Qureshi's cousins killed in Delhi's Nizamuddin over a parking dispute. 2 people have been arrested. After a long legal battle, Udaipur Files is finally set to release today in the theatres as Delhi High Court dismisses plea seeking a stay. AIADMK's APS kickstarts AIADMK 2026 poll drive in Tamil Nadu, takes a jibe on the Stalin government. And we start this edition with some international breaking news that's coming in. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in his statement has said that Israeli army will take control of the Gaza city. The Security Cabinet has approved the Prime Minister's proposal for defeating Hamas. He says that the IDF will prepare for taking control of the Gaza city while distributing humanitarian assistance to the civilian population outside the combat zones. This decision, remember, marks another escalation of Israel's 22-month-long offensive launched in response to the Hamas's October 7th attack. Yesterday, Republic spoke to Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, where he assured that they are ready to fight over Gaza. The Israeli cabinet has approved a plan to occupy the Gaza city. The Israeli cabinet approved the list of 5 principles to abide by in exchange for ending the conflict. As per reports, the principles are the disarmament of Hamas, the return of all 15 remaining hostages, 20 of whom are to be believed to be alive, the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip, Israeli security control over Gaza Strip, the existence of an alternative civilian government that is not Hamas or the Palestinian Authority. Meanwhile, Republic is in Israel, which is bringing to you the exclusive details of the latest happenings, where we also spoke to the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Here's all that you need to know.
Israel is under tremendous diplomatic pressure globally to end this war. And in the face of this kind of pressure for Netanyahu to say, no, in fact, I'm going to double down on my war on Hamas and intensify it further, then he has to have a ramp off, as the Americans would say. So here's the ramp off is, I can finish it off quickly, but provided Hamas demilitarizes. If they're not doing it on their own, we will go in, because we are done with all other wars, the 7-front war that they've had over the last year and a half with Hezbollah, with Houthis, with Iran, with the Syrian militias, and of course with the Hamas in Gaza. He said, we are going to double down on military operations. The war is going to intensify, and once it ends, with the complete decimation of Hamas, we want a government there, a good government there, but not of Hamas and not of Palestine Authority. The world community can come together and decide and give a good governance structure to the people of Gaza Strip, and Israel would be absolutely okay with that. So in a way, he was sort of assuaging the concerns that even as he is doubling down, he has no intention whatsoever to annex the Gaza Strip into Israel. The people of Gaza can live there, have their government, minus Hamas.
I'm from New York. I'm visiting to volunteer for Israel. We're helping make tzitziot for the soldiers to protect spiritually, cook food, doing different things to volunteer and to show our support and love for the Holy Land and for the army that's protecting our homeland.
All right, protecting your homeland. So your homeland has been in the midst of a lot of wars.
Correct.
Israel-Iran war, Israel-Hamas war, Israel-Houthi war,
Yes.
Israel-Hezbollah war.
Yes, before the light comes a lot of darkness. So there's going to be a very bright period, a very bright future. But when there's challenges, that shows you got to push through, and then the light will come. Mashiach is eternal light.
But you think the war should end sometime?
Of course, we have to show more strength to fend off the enemies. Show more strength, and then they'll surrender. That's all we can do.
All right.
Otherwise, it will keep going.
Did you hear Prime Minister Netanyahu has decided that the Israeli forces will again go in Gaza and completely capture the territory? And
really?
Yes.
Oh, amazing!
You approve of that?
I don't know geopolitics a lot, but I know that that's part of the land that God gave to Abraham. It's part of the land of Israel, and it was a mistake to give it away, as we see what Hamas did to it. And in my personal opinion, I don't think there's another solution to have Hamas or a Palestinian Authority run that place, because we see that they run themselves into the grave, and they could have made it into Singapore. They could have made it into, it's beach town. You could literally made it into Miami Beach, but they ran that to shit. And I think, the Israeli government is doing a good job taking care of their Arab population. I think it's a good idea.
Thank you so much.
All right, God bless.
So that really, gives you an idea of the kind of connect that Netanyahu has, it seems, with the ground. Because remember, we met Prime Minister Netanyahu. He exactly said things like, people understand the language of his strength. People understand the language of power, and we really need to make sure, that's what Prime Minister Netanyahu said, that we go back into Gaza and make sure that Hamas is completely decimated. Now here's someone who's come from New York, who shares the sentiment here on the ground. He said exactly those same words. Remember, he was not there in that meeting which we had with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He's saying, you need to approach these issues from a position of strength, and that Hamas has completely destroyed that territory. Of course, he had a religious spin to it, that God gave Abraham this land and we should not have given it to them. Take it back, make it better, and make it look like Miami Beach. Do you hear the resonance of what President Trump said? The kind of beachfront that Gaza Strip has, that's the sentiment that this person also had.
Shifting our focus to some from international to some national stories that we are tracking. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tamil Nadu elections are approaching. AIADMK General Secretary has been on a statewide campaign ahead of the Tamil Nadu polls in 2026. He has been campaigning in several districts for his inroads that they are trying to make with BJP in alliance now. He has said that in the past, the people are clear that their resolve to overthrow the DMK regime that has ruined Tamil Nadu is now over. Tamil Nadu is set to get a new government is what EPS claims. He has been on a campaign spree. My colleague Sharda is reporting live from the very spot where he campaigned. Let's listen into that.
Well, the 2026 elections is just 8 months away, and we can see the entire state of Tamil Nadu gearing up for the elections. So the first set was in the southern state, which included the western Nilgiris, Coimbatore, and down south Tenkasi and Tirunelveli. And the second space is now the Madurai, where Madurai is becoming a strong space for the AIADMK and BJP to tap into, because that is the special part of Tamil Nadu which had been constantly opposing the DMK government in the state. And we can see how where now they have been calling the Edappadi K. Paliswamy, the future chief minister, and this fresh rally, which is the second phase right now, shows how strong the AIADMK is. Though there is 8 months still left for the elections, the fire among the people when they see the AIADMK leader is huge, especially when it is here in Madurai. Erode being his hometown, Edappadi K. Paliswamy has tried to make sure that even the center of the state of Tamil Nadu, which is Madurai, Rajapalayam, Srivilliputturu and the other places, have the AIADMK.
Viewers, moving moving on to some other stories that we're tracking. Chief Minister Stalin is set to unveil Tamil Nadu's state education policy, thereby clearly rejecting the national education policy. The policy comes as an alternative to the NEP, that is the National Education Policy, rejecting the central's policy. Tamil Nadu has consistently and vocally opposed the NEP, especially its three-language formula, centralized entrance exams, and early standardized testing. The DMK-led government has termed the NEP regressive, anti-social justice, and an attempt at Hindi imposition. Aishwarya is joining us live from the newsroom on that. Aishwarya, this is a recent row over NEP, Centre versus Stalin. What are we expecting as far as Stalin is going to unveil the state education policy is concerned? How is it going to be different from the NEP?
So, you know, he has been opposing the national education policy for a very long time now. And remember, these developments are coming in ahead of the assembly elections in the state. And as far as the national education policy is concerned, now Stalin has made a few points, if I talk about the allegations that he has made against the national education policy. And he says that the national education policy is going to hamper the progress of Tamil Nadu. One. Second, he says that the focus is on Hindi and Sanskrit, and it doesn't really take into account the other languages and the other diversity of India. Third, he says that it is a Hindutva-driven policy. So these are the allegations that he's been making about the national education policy, and that is why he has come up with the state's own version of an education policy. But Tanish, at the same time, we need to mention that education is a topic under concurrent list, which means that the national education policy can only give recommendations. It sets out a broad framework on how the education should look like, and there should be uniformity in the education policy across the country, and that is the purpose of the NEP. However, the states are not really mandated to follow all the points that have been given by the national education policy.
Right, Aishwarya.
And they can also formulate their own, and that is the reason Stalin has come up with the state's own education policy. But remember, this coming in ahead of the assembly elections in the state.
Absolutely. It is going to snowball into a huge political controversy. All eyes are going to be on that. But for now, thank you, Aishwarya. Moving on to some other stories that we are tracking. In a strong statement, the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has said that no special order has been issued to drop cases of non-Muslims from foreign tribunals, and that the CEA protest them from any punitive actions. Here's a report on that.
State government has not issued any direction except what has been there already in CA. So if any cabinet decision is taken, I always come and share with you. So no special decision has been taken, but Citizenship Amendment Act itself provides security and protection to the people who entered into India prior to 2014. So that is the law, and case is in the Supreme Court. Unless Supreme Court strike it down, that is the law of the land. So for that, no special cabinet decision or no special decision is required. We have taken two cabinet decisions for the Kos Rajbangshi and Gorkha people.
Getting in some breaking news that's coming in. Bollywood actress Huma Qureshi's brother was murdered in Delhi's Nizamuddin area over a parking dispute. Republic has exclusively accessed the CCTV footage of the horrifying incident that we will put out in a short while from now. But this is a disturbing case that has come to light from the national capital, where Huma Qureshi's cousin brother has been killed in the national capital over a parking dispute. Remember, this comes late night yesterday at around 11 p.m. 10 to 11 p.m. is the time that we are getting to know actor Huma Qureshi's brother Asif Qureshi was murdered in a late-night altercation over a parking space in Delhi's Nizamuddin area. Both the accused have been arrested, and the murder weapon, we learn, has also been seized. The incident took place on Thursday night, that is yesterday, at around 10 to 11 p.m. when Asif Qureshi, Huma Qureshi's cousin brother, asked the two men to park the scooty away from his house's main entrance as a verbal altercation ensued. The men left the spot but threatened to come back. That's the exact video on the screen of the stabbing incident that took place. A group of nearly 7 to 8 men hounding on Huma Qureshi's brother, stabbing him right there at the parking spot. We learn that this is an exclusive CCTV footage that we have accessed from the Nizamuddin area of the national capital. An altercation can be seen happening in the Nizamuddin area, soon after which Huma Qureshi's brother said that they will have to remove their scooter, after which it broke out into a altercation. The miscreants said that they would come back, and when they did, they came back with a murder weapon, brutally stabbed Huma Qureshi's cousin brother and killed him. When he was brought to the hospital, he was declared dead. I'm being joined by Akhil on that note. Akhil, this is a horrifying incident that has come to light. On your screen, viewers on the camera have been captured. Huma Qureshi's cousin that has been stabbed over a parking dispute. We will stay with that exclusive CCTV footage. But Akhil, keep talking to us and share us more details on what action has been taken. What was the real reason? Was this only over a parking dispute, or was there something more to the story?
That's right, Tanisha. If you see, a shocking incident has come to light from Nizamuddin's Bhogal area, and that area comes under the Nizamuddin police station. So what actually transpired last night at around 10:25 p.m. that there was an altercation broke out between two neighbors, and Huma Qureshi's cousin, who has been identified as Asif Qureshi. Asif Qureshi lives in on the Church Lane in 7A apartment, and his neighbor lives in 8B apartment. So what has happened that there have been constant altercation over a week which has been going on between the two neighbors, and after that what has happened that last night only at around 10 p.m. An altercation again broke out between the two neighbors, and after that what we have seen that the second neighbor took out basically a sharp weapon object, and he attacked with this. And if you see, we have accessed that CCTV footage camera visuals, and in that it's pretty clear that initially in the first round when that stabbing incident took place, then he got his left hand bruised. When he came back again, the accused came back again, and then he attacked on his chest. When he got attacked on chest, then he was basically unconscious, and then he was taken to a nearby hospital where the doctors have declared the person who has been identified as Asif Qureshi, who is the cousin of Bollywood actress Huma Qureshi, has been dead. So right now what we have seen, the latest development that we are getting from ground zero is that both the accused in connection with the case have been apprehended by the Southeast District Police team, and in this case the Hemant Tiwari, who is the DCP of the Southeast District Police, have confirmed this, that legal proceedings are underway in connection with the case as of now.
Right, Akhil, as we see on our screens, there are multiple men that have gathered around Huma Qureshi's brother. It seems like there's a dispute that's going on. The entire video of the stabbing is on your screen, but as you were saying, that only 2 people have been arrested. Akhil, are there any more people that we think are involved in the case? Because according to the visuals that we see, there are more than 2 people who have surrounded Huma Qureshi's brother Asif Qureshi, and they're trying to stab him, they're trying to push him away. Are there more accused as far as this case is concerned?
See, Tanisha, the main person who basically stabbed Huma Qureshi's brother is the neighbor. This has been identified and confirmed to us by the DCP of the Southeast District. So there's no doubt that who is the main accused. But on the second part, if you see, this altercation was not happening for the first time. In the recent past, what we have got to know from Huma Qureshi's cousin's neighbors, they have said that this altercation has been going on for a very long time. And initially, Asif Qureshi has constantly denied and requested him not to park in front of his parking area. Despite that, there was several altercation going on for the last 2 weeks. And in rage of that, what we have seen that the main accused in connection with the case, who has been identified as Gautam, has stabbed Asif Qureshi, in which he was got brutally injured. And when he was taken to the nearby hospital, the doctors have declared him brought dead.
Right, Akhil, also talk to us about has Huma Qureshi's family responded to this? Has Huma Qureshi responded to this? Because this is an incident that has come to light from the national capital. Law and order situation, if it's going to complete collapse, it does raise certain questions. It does raise certain eyebrows, because this incident has happened in the national capital, and this is about a leading actress's kin who has been killed.
Well, that's right. If you just look closely to the CCTV camera visuals, it's pretty clear that initially, when the first round of brief altercation took place, at that point in time, he attacked Huma Qureshi's cousin brother. And after that, what we have seen that there are several neighbors who were over there standing. They basically came in between, and then they tried to request both of them to resist and not to attack. And after that, what we have seen that the situation has been normal. And if you see in the second round of, again, when altercation broke out, then the person who is the main accused in this case basically pulled out a sharp-edged weapon, which is basically used for ice slab cutting. So with that weapon, he attacked the person in connection with the case. And after that, what we have seen that he got brutally injured, and and then when he was taken to a nearby hospital, the doctors have told the family that he's no more with us, and he has been declared broad dead.
Right, Akhil, thank you very much for getting us those details. Before we move on to the next story, let's also have a look at that report that my colleague Kajal has filed from the exact spot where the murder had taken place last night at around 11 p.m.
ये आसिफ का घर है जिसका मर्डर किया गया है। ये वही घर है जहां पर आसिफ को मारा गया है और ये वही जगह है जहां पर स्कूटी पार्किंग को लेकर जो है आसिफ ये उज्जवल और गौतम को कह रहे थे कि आप अपनी स्कूटी थोड़ा आगे कर लीजिए, क्योंकि उनकी वाइफ जो है उनके पैरों में रॉड डली हुई है जिसमें बैठने में प्रॉब्लम होती है और वहाँ पर जगह नहीं बची थी। यहाँ वो जगह है जहाँ पर आसिफ को घसीटते हुए लाया गया है। यहाँ से वो स्टेन लगे हुए कपड़ों को पुलिस ने अपने कब्जे में लिया है और ये वो घर इस वक्त जो आप देख रहे हैं ये वही घर है जहाँ पर उज्जवल और गौतम रहते थे। और यहाँ से वो नीचे आया, उसके बाद जो है आसिफ को मारना शुरू किया। पहले उन्होंने यहाँ से घसीटते हुए उसको मारा और उसके बाद यहाँ पर अपने गेट के सामने लाकर पत्थरों से मारा। और ये बताया जा रहा है, जो आई विटनेस है वो ये बता रहे हैं कि कुछ नोकीली चीज़ थी जिससे उनके सीने में खंजर घोंपा गया और उसके बाद वहीं पर उसकी मौत हो गई। हालांकि उनकी पत्नी की तरफ से पूरी तरीके से कोशिश भी की गई, अस्पताल ले जाया गया, लेकिन अस्पताल पहुंचते ही डॉक्टरों ने मृत घोषित कर दिया। फिलहाल उज्जवल और गौतम को जो है गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया और आगे की जांच चल रही है। यहाँ पर ये बताया जा रहा है कि सिर्फ आसिफ को मारने में उज्जवल और गौतम ही नहीं बल्कि उनकी फैमिली और उनकी बहनें भी ऐसा कह रही थी कि मारिए और आप इसको।
It's time for us to now step into a short break. Getting your details after the break is a top hearing that is lined up in the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court is ready to hear again a case in which it had debunked a High Court judge for absurd order. Also coming up after the break, Udaipur files is all set to be released today after the High Court had cleared its release.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला।
भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना,
अपने देश का सामान, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
इंडिया सोना।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
The Indian economy has been the fastest growing G20 economy for 8 of the last 11 years. And those are the only 8 in the last 77 years, during which India has been the largest, has been the fastest growing economy among the G20. So,
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला। MDH की देगी मिर्च।
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Mujawar has been a part of the ATS team that investigated this Malegaon case, and what he has to say today is explosive. He's breaking the silence. Mahmood Mujawar ji, thank you. शुक्रिया हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए. First of all, आपको ये फैसला आज सुन के क्या लगा? Do you think justice has finally been done in the case, Mujawar ji?
बहुत अच्छा लगा सर. कहीं तो न्याय हो गया, और ये न्याय मिलाने के लिए जो आपने जद्दोजहद की, जो आपने कोशिश की, वो सही में काम आई सर. खास करके मैं निरंजन स्वामी का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ, जिन्होंने मेरा कोई तुम्हारे चैनल से कोई संबंध नहीं था, मगर मेरे को ढूंढ के निकाल के आपने अपने स्टूडियो में बुलाया था, और बुला के मेरे को पूछ के सही तरीके से मेरा इंटरव्यू लिया था सर.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ. डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा. अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ. सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात. वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है. अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला.
भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना,
अपने देश का सामान, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना,
इंडिया सोना.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला. सिप सिप जीरा सिप, जीरा सिप, MDH का जल जीरा सिप, जीरा सिप, MDH का जल जीरा सिप.
The Indian economy has been the fastest growing G20 economy for 8 of the last 11 years. And those are the only 8 in the last 77 years, during which India has been the largest, has been the fastest growing economy among the G20. So during the years that Rahul Gandhi's family ruled India, India's per capita income was declining relative to the rest of the world. Just listen to that. The average income of an Indian was declining relative to the average income of every human on earth. That is a remarkably bad outcome for India to have had. If you want a dead economy, it is the Nehruvian Indira economy and the Rajiv economy. That was a genuinely dead economy. If you want an economy that is vibrant, this is that economy. The economy of India today under the Modi government is, in fact, the envy of the world. It may not be the envy of Donald Trump right now, but the simple fact is that the Indian economy is the...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Good morning, viewers. Republic Media Network is set to launch the R4 Sports Anthem that roars with the voice of a billion dreams. Hashtag Main Bharat Hoon. Main Bharat Hoon ignites India's sporting spirit like never before. It is the rhythm of resilience, the plea of passion and the heartbeat of every Indian athlete. From the gullies to the grand stages and from grassroots to glory, this anthem belongs to every Indian. A sporting roar, a national call, a billion dreams. So join us for the launch of the sports anthem of the year, R4 Sports, hashtag Main Bharat Hoon, today at 5:30 p.m. And now let's take a look at the headlines that we are tracking for you at the top of 10. US President Donald Trump rules out trade talks with India amid the tariff dispute. Israeli Security Cabinet approves Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to take over Gaza. Supreme Court to again hear case in which it had rebuked the High Court judge for absurd order. Actor Huma Qureshi's cousin killed in Delhi's Nizamuddin over parking dispute. 2 arrested. After a long legal battle, Udaipur files movie to release today as the Delhi High Court dismisses plea seeking stay. And AIADMK's EPS kickstarts AIADMK 2026 poll drive in Tamil Nadu, takes a jibe on the Stalin government. And viewers, we have big breaking news coming in. Allahabad High Court judges urge the CJ to defy the Supreme Court order, and they have sought a full court meeting. At least 13 judges of the Allahabad High Court have written to the Chief Justice for convening a full court meeting against Supreme Court's recent order against Justice Prashant Kumar. In a drastic direction issued on 4th of August, the bench of Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Justice R. Mahadevan had urged the High Court Chief Justice to strip Justice Kumar of criminal roster till his retirement and make him sit in a division bench with a seasoned senior judge of the High Court. The direction and the scathing remarks against Justice Kumar were passed for his verdict that criminal prosecution could be used as an alternative means to recover money in civil disputes. Now, according to official sources, Justice Arindam Sinha today wrote a letter to the Chief Justice expressing shock and pain over the apex court order. The Supreme Court has relisted the case involving Justice Prashant Kumar for a hearing on Friday now. So this is a big story coming in, and this was in light of the Supreme Court's rare and pointed reprimand. All right, Shambhavi, my colleague, is now joining us for more details. Shambhavi, this is a very kind of an unprecedented situation there that we are getting to see. It's Allahabad High Court judges and versus the Supreme Court. What more details do you have?
Well, yes, this is a very indeed rare resistance coming from the Allahabad High Court as well, after the Supreme Court has came down heavily and criticized Justice Prashant Kumar's verdict regarding using a criminal way in a civil dispute. And now that they are showing this kind of resistance, now that they've written a letter where they've clearly pointed out 3 points that they've pointed out. First is that that verdict was in line with precedents, with a lot of Supreme Court verdicts and orders which are given in past. And they've also pointed out that the Chief Justice of a High Court is the master of the roster, like the Chief Justice of India is the master of a roster in Supreme Court. So what gives Supreme Court the right to decide to strip Justice Prashant Kumar of all the criminal cases?
So we are right now joined in by Rhythm, our colleague. Rhythm, now let's talk about, this is a very unprecedented situation here. So does the Supreme Court's order or action against Justice Prashant really overstep High Court autonomy, or shall we say it was a necessary judicial oversight? And also just take us through, now that we are witnessing a pushback by the judges of the Allahabad High Court, what does it really say about the judicial discipline?
Well, a very good morning to our viewers and to everyone who's joining us. This is the big story that we're breaking right here. It's going to be very clear and interesting to see what happens at 10:30. It's an unprecedented move where we are seeing the Allahabad High Court versus the Supreme Court. The Allahabad High Court, 13 judges of the Allahabad High Court have written to the Chief Justice of the High Court. They have urged him to convene a full court meeting. What is the full court meeting? Which means that all the judges of the High Court of Allahabad are going to sit together. They are going to consider this direction directions that have been given by a Supreme Court bench in an order that is taking away Justice Prashant Kumar's criminal roster until his retirement. What has happened has just been explained to you. The Supreme Court had harshly criticized an order passed by Justice Kumar and further directed the High Court Chief Justice to make him sit with a senior bench and a judge in a division bench. Further, the court had observed no criminal matters will be given to him. Now, that's all right. But what is the bigger thing that has happened? It is the Supreme Court order of August 4th that had taken away the powers of the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court. It is only the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court who is the master of the roster and who can do this. The High Court judge's letter to the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court defends Justice Kumar's order, stating it relied upon the Supreme Court rulings. This case is coming in very soon right now for directions in the top court. This has seen judicial tremors. Of course, we're speaking about judicial federalism because this order is being seen as a breach of judicial federalism. The CJI is consulting other Supreme Court judges also to remedy this. That's why we are saying that there's going to be a hearing today. What Justice Pardeval's bench did on 4th of August is that they derostered a High Court judge. I'm going to try and put this as simply as possible for our viewers. These powers of derostering a High Court judge are only with the High Court Chief Justice. It is only he alone who is the allocator of the roster and can reassign those. This leads to a war cry by Allahabad High Court judges. The judges are refusing to let this slide. They are battling for judicial autonomy. We've got a letter that's accessed by us that shows that a full court meeting by Allahabad High Court judges has been shown. It's unprecedented. We also gave you details of the High Court order that had been passed earlier by Supreme Court against the High Court Judge Prashant Kumar, whose pictures on the screen. Very strong language had been used by the Supreme Court bench that had termed this judgment passed by him as one of the worst ever. The judge concerned is cutting a sorry figure, it had been said, and it has also been said that Chief Justice of the High Court shall immediately withdraw the present criminal determination from the concerned judge, make the concerned judge sit in a division bench with a seasoned senior judge. These are not the powers of a Supreme Court. As such, the Supreme Court did not have the power to do this because the Chief Justice of the High Court should have done this. So this has caused a revolt within the Allahabad High Court, and the judges are now trying to get a full court meeting. One of the judges wrote the letter. It was signed by 12 others. It's going to now asking for a full court meeting to discuss what effects and ramifications this will have. It's unprecedented. It's causing judicial tremors. There's talk of judicial federalism, but an open revolt that is being seen in the judiciary, it's very rarely happened, and it's surely happening today. But I also want to tell our viewers the big breaking news that very soon we're also going to see the Supreme Court looking at this matter. It's also something that the Chief Justice of India has taken note of. It's not something that the Chief Justice of India has let it pass. This matter is very interestingly today, yet again, after the court order has been there, put out. So today at 10:30, we're going to see very interestingly this matter also come in the Supreme Court, and it says it's going to be in the Supreme Court for directions. So we have to see what sort of directions will the Supreme Court today pass. I have a feeling there's going to be a little bit of a change in the August 4 matter. We're not going to pre-look at what's going to happen, but I do think after this revolt and also the Chief Justice of India taking into his own understanding of the powers of the High Court Chief Justice is going to try and say that we have to relook at this matter.
Rhythm, just make us understand with, these 13 High Court judges really pushing back and calling for a full court meeting. What are the possible next steps, both institutionally and also for Justice Prashant Kumar?
Well, institutionally, there's a revolt that has happened. So what's going to possibly happen is the spark came from the August 4 order. There is going to be a little bit of a change, simply put, in the August 4 order that had been passed by Justice Pardewala's bench. And what we're going to now see is after this full court meeting, they're going to discuss what further has to happen. We are actually trying to possibly see today which the Supreme Court themselves will try and solve this issue as they were aware of what has happened. And therefore, this matter is listed before the Supreme Court on August 8th, that is today, under directions matter. So it's not something that the Supreme Court is not aware of. All eyes are going to be on what happens today in the Supreme Court. Is the Supreme Court going to recall these crucial words that had been there against Justice Kumar, which clearly showed that that Justice Kumar can be de-rostered by a scathing Supreme Court order. This growing sentiment that a Supreme Court cannot de-roster a sitting High Court judge, a power that lies solely with the High Court Chief Justice, is what has to be seen. The Chief Justice of India is also going to consult his other senior judges to assess how to handle this backlash. So today is going to be very crucial in this regard.
All right, Rhythm. Thank you so much for breaking this down for us and making us understand the entire case here. And let's, viewers, move on in the bulletin. We have big breaking news coming in. That is from Uttar Pradesh. Now, UP CEO has rejected Rahul Gandhi's claims on anomalies in the voter list. Now, Uttar Pradesh Chief Election Officer has said that the facts presented by Rahul Gandhi are incorrect. So after a Karnataka poll body now Uttar Pradesh's poll body has also fact-checked Rahul Gandhi. So remember, Rahul Gandhi had accused the Election Commission of manipulating data, and he had mentioned about Uttar Pradesh as well as Karnataka and Maharashtra as well. And the Karnataka poll body had rebuked Rahul Gandhi and mentioned that the facts presented are wrong. And now the UP's Election Commission officer has also said that the facts presented by Rahul Gandhi are incorrect. So the Chief Electoral Officer has rebuked Rahul Gandhi, and he has mentioned that Rahul Gandhi, remember, held a press conference on the topic, the foundation of the Constitution is vote, and the vote has been destroyed. And the Chief Electoral Officer mentioned that along with other topics, the state of Uttar Pradesh was also mentioned, in which he had said that two voters named Shri Aditya Srivastav and Shri Vishal Singh, these names were mentioned, but the Electoral Officer said that their names are also mentioned in the voter list of the Legislative Assemblies of Uttar Pradesh. And these figures have been shown by Rahul Gandhi as taken from the website of Election Commission. All right, let's get all the updates. Riyanka, my colleague, is now joining us for more details. Riyanka, now a strong rebuke has come in from the UP CEO rejecting Rahul Gandhi's claims of anomalies in the voter list. What exactly is the Chief Election Officer of Uttar Pradesh saying about Rahul Gandhi's claims?
Well, the Chief Electoral Officer of Uttar Pradesh has gone ahead and given it back at Rahul Gandhi, making a fact check regarding the statements and the facts put forward by Rahul Gandhi yesterday when he was addressing a press conference, bringing in facts and talking about the atom bomb proof that the Congress party has been time and again saying in the parliament and during their protest that they are going to put forward the names of, doubling of people. And at this point in time, what exactly the Chief Electoral Office of Uttar Pradesh has said is that Rahul Gandhi made several claims and provided certain facts in which names of two people have been associated, the fact that their names have been put in the list of the cards in UP, in Karnataka, as well as in other states. Now, the Chief Electoral Officer of Uttar Pradesh has gone ahead and clarified the entire matter. He has said the names of both the voters are only included in the list in Karnataka and not in the state of Uttar Pradesh. They have come out with all the figures from the side of the Chief Electoral Officer in UP, and they have completely rebuked the statements and the claims made by Rahul Gandhi. Remember, time and again, the Congress party as well as the India Alliance leaders have been time and again protesting against the Bihar SIR issue. And remember how Rahul Gandhi had said that he will be providing the proofs. In fact, the Election Commission also asked all the political parties who had problems or they wanted certain changes or had some objections to be brought to the Election Commission. But there also, the ECI mentioned that no such political parties have put in any objection. But Rahul Gandhi, all talks, no action, bringing in false facts, clearly rebuked by the Chief Electoral Officer in Uttar Pradesh, claiming that the names that Rahul Gandhi had taken, whether their inclusions were in several states, are just restricted to one state, that is in Karnataka.
Right. Stay with us, Riyanka. We are right now joined in by Mr. Mahendra Singh who's a BJP spokesperson. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on Republic TV. Sir, your reaction, because after Karnataka poll body, now Uttar Pradesh's chief election officer has also rebuked Rahul Gandhi and fact-checked him and shown him that the allegations that Rahul Gandhi had made were actually wrong, and he has also fact-checked him. So how do you look at this development?
देखिए, राहुल गांधी एक जिद्दी बच्चे की तरह बिहेव करते हैं, इमेच्योर हैं, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अथॉरिटीज की उनको जानकारी नहीं है। जो इंसान इस तरह की बातें कर सकता है, जेटली साहब के प्रति ये कहना है कि मैं उनको मिला था और उन्होंने मेरे को आके धमकी दी थी और कहा था कि किसान बिलों के ऊपर मत बोलें, ऐसे आदमी को आप क्या ट्रस्ट करेंगे? हमें अफसोस है कि वो अपोजिशन के लीडर में एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पोस्ट पर बैठकर भी उसकी अहमियत को नहीं समझ पा रहे। वो अभी भी स्कूल में जाते, जैसे बच्चा एक जिद्दी बच्चा होता है स्कूल में, जो सबको गलत बताता है और खुद को ठीक बताता है, ये उस बच्चे का बिहेव कर रहे हैं। ना बदलते हैं, ना बदलना चाहते हैं, और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अथॉरिटीज पर बार बार करके छोटा दिखाने की कोशिश करते हैं। अब आप बताइए, राहुल गांधी जैसे आदमी को कभी उत्तर प्रदेश के तो क्या अच्छा लगता है उनको, लेकिन वो बदलेगी नहीं। एक बच्चे इतना इतना ही बिहेव करते रहेंगे।
जी, राहुल गांधी ने कहा कि एटम बॉम्ब प्रूफ लाएंगे वोट चोरी के खिलाफ। 2 बार एटलीस्ट कर्नाटका के बाद उत्तर प्रदेश में भी उनके जो क्लेम्स हैं वो रॉन्ग प्रूव हुए हैं। सो धन्यवाद हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए सर, धन्यवाद। And viewers, we have more breaking news coming in. The Election Commission of India says even after more than a week since the period for claims and objections began, not a single claim or objection has been submitted by any political party so far. So Election Commission, they're also hitting back at Rahul Gandhi. Remember, the Election Commission had asked Rahul Gandhi, in fact any political party there, of giving proof of their objections. However, the Election Commission said that not even a single claim has been submitted. Naveen Kohli, our BJP leader, is joining us on the phone line. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on Republic TV. Sir, how do you look at the developments in the case? Because Rahul Gandhi had claimed about atom bomb proof of vote chori. But what we are witnessing is that the state election commissions are bringing out facts. They are fact-checking Rahul Gandhi, and each of those claims are coming out to be false. So can you hear me? Nalin Kohli, national spokesperson of the BJP. All right, we'll try to connect back with Mr. Nalin Kohli. Let's go to Riyanka, my colleague. Riyanka, there are 2 bodies, state bodies, election bodies that have fact-checked Rahul Gandhi. The Election Commission also says that no claim, no party has come forward with any proof, any claim, and nothing really has been submitted by any political party. What does this really say about claims made by Rahul Gandhi?
Absolutely. This is some sort of a double standards, because the Congress party is right now just doing the talks and no action. And when it comes to proving their words, they have absolutely miserably failed. Now, given the fact that the Election Commission had made it pretty clear, amply clear, that those having objections, those political parties having objections may submit their problems and objections to the Election Commission. But as per the breaking developments, in fact, yesterday also we were tracking the same note from the Election Commission that it has said up till now, more than weeks have been passed away that claims are made regarding objections of the Bihar SIR, but no such claim or objection has been submitted officially on paper
in front of the Election Commission. So what are we seeing? Is it just one of the tactics of the Congress Party and the India Alliance to mar the operations in the parliament, or just to constantly build a pressure? In fact, the leaders on the parliament has also said that Election Commission is a independent body and the parliament has no take on that. But at this point in time, what we are seeing, the EC also doubling down its action against the claims made by Rahul Gandhi.
So, were the claims a hoax? Thank you so much for those details there. And viewers, let's move on. Bollywood actress Huma Qureshi's brother was murdered in Delhi's Nizamuddin over a parking dispute. And Republic TV has exclusively accessed the CCTV footage of the horrifying incident. So those are the visuals. This is the CCTV footage, and we can see that there is an altercation. There is a argument apparently that happened over a parking issue. And Huma Qureshi's cousin Asif Qureshi was murdered late Thursday night over a parking dispute. Akil, my colleague, is now joining us for more details. Akil, we can see this CCTV footage that Republic TV has accessed, and we can see multiple men there, and there is a dispute going on. We understand that 2 people have been arrested, but we can see multiple people as far as the CCTV footage is showing. What more details do you have? What are the police now saying? Akil, can you hear me? All right, we'll try to connect back with our reporter Akil, who's tracking those developments very, very closely. But we can see those visuals from the CCTV footage where we can see there's an altercation really happening. And apparently it happened over a parking dispute. The incident took place at around 11 p.m. in Jangpura's Bogal Market Lane. And police say that an argument broke out when Asif asked his neighbor to move a scooter that was parked in front of his gate. And this verbal spat quickly escalated, and the accused attacked Asif with a sharp weapon. He was rushed to the hospital in a critical condition, but he was declared dead on arrival. Now, relatives are also alleging that the accused had clashed with Asif earlier as well, and they claim that the murder was carried out brutally over a minor issue. Police have registered a case. Akil, my colleague, is now joining us. Akil, what more details can you provide us?
Have come out from Nizamuddin's Bhugal area. Here you can see right now we are standing at the very spot where that unfortunate incident took place, in which what we have seen is the Bollywood actress Huma Qureshi's cousin was brutally stabbed by his neighbors. Here you can see, I would like to move a little bit forward and show you the visual of the very residence of Huma Qureshi's cousin. This is the very residence where his cousin used to live, who has been identified as Asif Qureshi. This is the residence of Asif Qureshi, and just outside his residence, this very unfortunate incident took place over a minor parking issue. So Asif used to park his bike over here, and after that what we have seen that a brief altercation broke out between Asif Qureshi and his neighbor, who just live adjacent to his house, who has been identified as Gautam. So after the brief altercation, what we have got to learn that the main accused in connection with the case pulled out a poker, which is basically a kind of a sharp-edged weapon which is used to cut ice slab. He basically took out that poker and stabbed in his chest, in which he has got brutally injured. When Asif Qureshi was taken to a nearby hospital along with his family members, then the doctors have declared him brought dead. So right now, the information that we have received from the DCP East Southeast Police, Mr. Hemant Tiwari, has confirmed this, that both 2 accused in connection with the case have been arrested so far, and the legal proceedings are underway.
Right. Akil, we can see that in the CCTV footage, there are multiple people that are, there. Now, police have arrested 2 people in the case, but what is the police saying about the other people who were there? Were they eyewitnesses? Because we can see definitely that there are more people involved.
Well, that's right. If you see, this area is a residential area, and it's a densely populated area of Bogal. Towards my right and left, you can see that if adjacent to every single household, you will find that there are houses over here. But right now, what has happened that when that incident took place, there were many people who were basically over here, and they tried to basically speak to some individuals over there. Right now, I'm joined by one of the eyewitnesses over here. अच्छा, मुझे बताइए, जिस वक्त ये घटना हुई उस वक्त आप यहाँ पे मौजूद थे क्या?
भाई साहब, मैं यहाँ बैठा हुआ था, दुकान पे खाना खा रहा था,
उसकी मिसेस यहाँ बैठी हुई थी, आसिफ यहाँ खड़ा हुआ था, गाड़ी के ऊपर झगड़ा हुआ है। गाड़ी
इस बात को लेकर के झगड़ा हुआ था
गाड़ी खड़ी करने पे।
कितने बजे की घटना है
ये है 10:30 बजे की बात की। तो उसने कही भाई गाड़ी यहाँ से हटा ले, है मेरी बीवी की पैर में चोट लगी है, ले रास्ता नहीं है निकलने का, तो गाड़ी यहाँ से हटा ले। इस बात पे व्यवहार होता रहा, वो गाली गुप्तार करता रहा। आसिफ उसके घर तक चला गया, तू गाली क्यों बक रहा है, वहाँ तक गाली गुप्तार देता वो चला गया। वहाँ जाके वो ज़्यादा गाली देने लग गया आसिफ की। उसकी लड़का अंदर से आया, आसिफ के उसके मुँह पे थप्पड़ मारने लग गया आसिफ के। तो फिर उसी बात पे
इन दोनों में पहले से कोई रंजिश थी क्या इस बात को लेकर?
तो ऐसी कोई नहीं थी पहले से।
तो पार्किंग को लेकर एक छोटी सी बात को लेकर
बात पे हुआ इतनी बड़ी।
आसपास आपने बचाने की कोशिश की?
हाँ, मेरा आया हुआ है, मैं बचा रहा था, वो दूसरा वाला लड़का हाथापाई कर रहा था, उसको धक्का दिया मैंने। धक्का दिया तो बड़े वाले का उसने, आसिफ ने उसका यूँ पकड़ लिया। तो बड़े वाले ने बोला अंदर से कोई चीज़ निकाल कर ला, इसके मारा। मैंने जैसे उसको पीछे मुड़ के देखा तो वो यूँ निकल के उसके क्या मारा क्या नहीं मारा उसकी छाती में।
Was he drunk at that point in time? क्या वो नशे की हालत में धुत थे, ऐसा कुछ था क्या
जी?
नशे की हालत में जो अक्यूज था, जिसने स्टैप किया, वो नशे की हालत में था?
कह नहीं सकता ही, वो गांजा बहुत पीता था, गांजा चरस ये पीता ही रहता था। गंदा लड़का है वो, कई दफ़े अंदर जा चुका है, चोरी के केस में भी अंदर जा चुका है वो।
Right. So this was one of the eyewitnesses who was present at that point in time when that incident took place, and he narrated the entire ordeal that just outside this very residence of Huma Qureshi's cousin, Mr. Asif Qureshi, this incident took place, in which he got brutally injured, and when he was taken to a nearby hospital, doctors have declared him brought dead.
All right, Akhil, thank you for all those details. You keep tracking those developments. We'll keep coming back to you. And viewers, right now, let's take a short break, and coming up ahead, US President Donald Trump rules out trade talks with India amid tariff dispute. That's the big story that we are tracking. Donald Trump ruling out trade talks with India amid the tariff dispute. Also coming up ahead, after a long legal battle, movie Udaipur files to release today as the Delhi High Court dismisses plea seeking a stay. Those big stories and much more coming up after a short break. Stay with Republic TV.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला। आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
Mujawar has been a part of the ATS team that investigated this Malegaon case, and what he has to say today is explosive. He's breaking the silence. महमूद मुजावर जी, थैंक यू, शुक्रिया हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, आपको ये फैसला आज सुन के क्या लगा? Do you think justice has finally been done in the case, मुजावर जी?
बहुत अच्छा लगा सर, कहीं तो न्याय हो गया। और ये न्याय मिलाने के लिए जो आपने जद्दोजहद की, जो आपने कोशिश की, वो सही में काम आई सर। खास करके मैं निरंजन स्वामी का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ, जिन्होंने मेरा कोई तुम्हारे चैनल से कोई संबंध नहीं था, मगर मेरे को ढूंढ के निकाल के आपने अपने स्टूडियो में बुलाया था और बुला के मेरे को पूछ के सही तरीके से मेरा इंटरव्यू लिया था सर। उसका काम हो गया और अच्छा काम हुआ उसके अंदर, सही तरीके से सही जजमेंट, सही।
Viewers, Republic
Public Media Network is set to launch the R4 sports anthem that roars with the voice of a billion dreams. Main Bharat Hoon ignites India's sporting spirit like never before. It is a rhythm of resilience, a pulse of passion, and the heartbeat of every Indian athlete. That is right, from grassroots to glory, this anthem belongs to every Indian. A sporting roar and national call. A billion dreams. Join us for the launch of the sports anthem of the year, R4 Sports. Hashtag Main Bharat Hoon today at 5:30 p.m.
To follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
Donald Trump rules out trade talks with India amid tariff dispute. Chief Electoral Officer of Uttar Pradesh fact-checks Rahul, says facts presented by Rahul incorrect. Supreme Court to again hear a case in which it had rebuked High Court judge for absurd order. Actor Huma Qureshi's cousin killed in Delhi over parking dispute. 2 arrested. After a long legal battle, the Udaipur files were released today as Delhi High Court dismisses plea seeking stay. AIADMK's EPS kickstarts AIADMK 2026 poll drive in Tamil Nadu, takes a jibe at the Stalin government. Getting some big breaking updates coming in right now, viewers. US President Trump has now said there will be no trade negotiations with India until a dispute over tariffs is resolved, following his administration's decision to double tariffs on Indian imports. And when pressed further at the Oval Office whether he expected talks to resume in light of the new 50% tariffs. So, viewers, what we see right now is Donald Trump saying that there will be no trade talks with India amid the tariff dispute. All right, let's go ahead and play out the reaction.
To follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved. Mr. President.
To follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved. Mr. President.
To follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved. Mr. President.
All right, getting you some big updates coming in right now, viewers on Republic TV. Let's move ahead to some of the others who they're tracking. And according to the latest information that we're getting for you, the Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has acknowledged that the US side has failed to implement a key provision of a bilateral agreement concerning tariff relief. Speaking to reporters at the Prime Minister's office, Ishiba said that he strongly urges the US to immediately take corrective measures to amend the presidential executive order. As per the report, under the agreement reached during the earlier negotiations, Washington has pledged that Japanese exports to the US would be eligible for tariff relief under the so-called reciprocal tariff framework. Specifically, products already subject to tariffs of 15% or higher would be exempt from further duties, while those taxed below 15% would see their rates raised to that level. So back-to-back updates coming in here, viewers, on Republic TV. Japanese Prime Minister has acknowledged that the US side has failed to implement a key provision of a bilateral agreement concerning tariff relief. All right, let's go straight across to Anand Ahuja, Indian-American attorney, live from New York, coming in on the story. Thank you for joining us here, Mr. Ahuja. And Mr. Ahuja, we see the trade war has reached almost a pinnacle, when it comes to India and the United States. And we see many countries are also, they're not happy with what Trump is doing. You're an Indian-American attorney. I really want you to help our viewers understand what is happening between US and India. Why is there so much of friction? And what does the US feel about this?
Okay, first of all, I'll be very honest with you. I'm a very optimistic person, and I don't see that there is going to this kind of relationship, the tense moments that we are having between USA and India relationship, they are going to continue for a very long period of time. Sooner or later, we are going to have a very reasonable, what we call is a fair trade deal with India. So one has to keep that thing in mind. Number two, with respect to what people at large in world they feel, they have to understand one thing, that Donald Trump was elected as president by United States voters not to please the world, but to deliver on the promises he made before the election. So we have to understand that I see a lot of criticism going on all over the world against Trump's policies, but people are forgetting that we are not here to please the world. Now, coming back to what by and large Americans they feel, obviously in America also there are pro-Trump people and there are anti-Trump people. So by and large, I would say that Americans, they are very happy what's going on right now all over the world, especially as far as USA's role on the world stage is concerned. United States has regained its position as a leader of the world. We have been very successful in having a trade deal with European Union. We have been very successful in having a trade deal with United Kingdom, trade deal with Japan and all other countries also. I personally believe that India should not feel offended and India should not feel as if India has been isolated, India has been targeted. If we see that Canada is our next door, basically neighbor, and with Canada we have much bigger trade relationship than what we have with India, and Canada has also been imposed 35% tariff. So India should not consider number one as if India has been targeted or as if Trump is against India. If you compare India's relationship with the United States during Biden time, if you recall all those issues, the Pannu case and all those, whatever happened during Biden time, as compared to that, number one, Donald Trump handing over Tharoor Rana to India, Donald Trump's promise to hand over other terrorists who are having those terrorist activities against India back to India. So basically, I personally believe that Indo-US relationship, they are on right track, except for these little bumps in between. And then I personally feel that those little bumps in any relationship you take in life, I have not come across any relationship that has 100% smooth relationship.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahuja. We're running out of time right now. We got a perspective on this trade war that we see between US, India and other countries. So getting some more breaking updates coming in, because the imposition of an additional 25% duty on India is a national security issue associated with New Delhi's abject refusal to stop buying Russian oil. White House trade advisor has said this. So I'm just quoting what the White House trade advisor has said on this, where they are saying the imposition of an additional 25% duty on India is a national security issue associated with New Delhi's abject refusal to stop buying Russian oil. So US is very, very strong on its points when it comes to the trade between India and Russia on oil, and they have reacted. They have reacted on this. Remember that the White House has issued an executive order imposing an additional 25% tariff on Indian goods, raising the total levy to 50%. And the US, the principal deputy spokesperson for US Department of State, has also issued a statement on the same. Let's listen in.
What I can say in terms of India is the president has been very clear in terms of the concerns he has regarding the trade imbalance, regarding the concerns he has when it comes to the purchase of Russian oil. He's going to take action directly on that, and I refer you to the president's comments for that. India is a strategic partner with whom we engage in a full and frank dialogue. That'll continue. The secretary also spoke to that. Like anything in foreign policy, you're not going to align 100% of the time on everything. But it is very clear, the president's been clear, the concerns that he has with the trade imbalance, the concerns he has with India purchasing Russian oil. He's been clear on that. He's taken action, and I refer you to his comments for further on that.
And viewers, as the US intensifies trade pressure on India, New Delhi is sending a strong message of strategic autonomy. NSA Ajit Doval is in Moscow, reinforcing deep-rooted ties with Russia. This even as External Affairs Minister Jaishankar prepares to follow with President Putin, who's set to visit India soon. Global diplomacy is clearly shifting gears. Here's more.
While US President Donald Trump ramps up the trade war with India,
We've made a lot of progress, and as you know, we put a 50% tariff on India on oil. They're the second largest. They're very close to China in terms of the purchase of oil from Russia. But so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we've had very productive talks today. Yes, ma'am?
If you do reach a deal with Ukraine and Russia, would you drop the additional tariffs on India?
Well, we'll determine that later, but right now they're paying a 50% tariff.
National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is in Moscow, and he met with Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu. A sure-shot reaffirmation of bilateral ties, Russia remains a high-value partner for India.
We have got a very special relationship, a long relationship, and we highly value our strategic partnership. We have had high-level engagements, and these high-level engagements have contributed very substantially. We are very excited and delighted to learn about the visit of His Excellency the President of Russia, President Putin, to India. I think that the dates are almost finalized now. The more important thing is this, that is, these summit meetings have always been the watershed points.
While Russia says they are committed to furthering cooperation with India. Another highlight of the meeting was the announcement of Putin's visit to India. NSA Doval confirmed that the Russian premier was due to visit soon. With Doval in Moscow and Putin's impending visit, the message to Washington could not be more clear. That for India, economic sovereignty and national interest is paramount. And if the West has drawn a plan to target India, then it's game on.
हमारे लिए अपने किसानों का हित सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है। भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं। मेरे देश के किसानों के लिए, मेरे देश के मछुआरों के लिए, मेरे देश के पशुपालकों के लिए आज भारत तैयार है।
Getting you some more updates coming in right now. Replying to a question by Reuters, US President Trump has signed an executive order to place an additional 25% tariff on India for its purchase of Russian oil. So what is China's comment? Well, the spokesperson of Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs says China's opposition to the abuse of tariff is consistent and clear. So we have got a statement coming in from China, where the spokesperson of China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs is saying that China's opposition to the abuse of tariff is absolutely consistent and clear. So these are back-to-back updates coming in here on Republic TV, viewers. And China calls Trump's order abuse of tariffs, and not the first country who is upset with the US for its tariffs which are being imposed on different countries. So these are some back-to-back updates. And remember, India has also responded in a very strong way to the tariffs which have been imposed by President Trump. And China has also now joined the chorus and has said that this is nothing more than the abuse of tariffs is very consistent and clear. And India has consistently pushed back, remember, against opening sensitive sectors such as agriculture and dairy to international competition. It's a huge standoff that we see between US and even other countries where it's a sharp escalation in trade tensions between US and India. And China also going ahead and speaking on the same issue, calling this entire tariff order a abuse. Now we see that this is leading to be a huge flashpoint between multiple countries, especially India. Now, this is coming in as White House has issued an executive order imposing an additional 25% tariff on Indian goods, raising the total levy to 50%, viewers. The US President Trump has said there will be no trade negotiations with India, remember, until a dispute over tariff is resolved, following his administration's decision to double tariffs on Indian imports. And remember that once somebody had asked him at the Oval Office whether he expected talks to resume in light of the new 50% tariff, Donald Trump has replied by saying no, not until we get it resolved. So a new statement has come in from Donald Trump amidst a tariff war that we are seeing between India and the US, and not just India and the US. Also, it's US versus the other countries because he has slapped tariffs on other countries simultaneously. So back-to-back updates coming in here on Republic TV, viewers, and the tariff war, I repeat, the tariff war is getting quite heated here, with even China supporting India in this and saying that the additional tariffs are nothing more than abuse. Back-to-back updates coming here, viewers, on Republic TV. And this is coming in as the tariff war continues. Chandrakala is joining us right now. And let's go to Chandrakala. Chandrakala, you know, we have seen how even China is slamming the United States. We have seen that other countries are also, you can say, they're on the same page as India. Even China, I mean, a country like China is on the same page, supporting India when it comes to the tough tariffs that President Trump has imposed. Chandrakala.
Yes, absolutely. We have seen the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson making it absolutely clear that China's opposition to abuse of tariff is absolutely consistently clear. And the Foreign Ministry, the Wang Yi, has also made it clear that using of tariff as a weapon is in violation of the UN law and, of course, the WTO. And we have seen that China has been posing up to India now that China itself has condemned US's tariffs on India. So we could see that all other countries are also posing up to China, is posing up to India, supporting India on this matter. And China particularly, we have seen, and of course, Donald Trump has made it clear that there would be no trade negotiations until and unless any tensions is resolved. And of course, China has come out in support of India and condemned U.S. President's tariff on India. Yes, this is a huge development because not only China, Israel has also supported India on this matter. So yes, we could see that all other countries are also supporting China, supporting India. And we have seen that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also spoken to the President of Brazil yesterday, discussing on this particular matter. And the Brazilian President is also set to visit India. So it's a huge political...
All right. Okay, thank you for joining the Chandrakala. I'm really sorry I will have to interrupt you right now. Getting some big breaking up is coming in right now. Supreme Court has set aside the order that had de-rostered High Court Judge Prashant Kumar. Viewers, back-to-back updates coming here on Republic TV. Breaking news coming in. This is coming in as we see the Allahabad High Court judges had urged CG to defy Supreme Court order, seek full court meeting, and at least 13 judges had written to the Chief Justice for convening a full court meeting against Supreme Court's recent order against Justice Prashant Kumar. That is right. Back-to-back updates coming in right now on Republic TV. It's a drastic direction which was issued on August 4th. The bench of Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Justice R. Mahadevan urged the High Court Chief Justice to strip Justice Kumar of criminal roster till his retirement. Okay, let's go straight across to my colleague. We are getting joined by Rhythm. Rhythm, yes, take it away. A big update coming in.
Well, let's tell our viewers what's happened. This is a big movement after the letter by the Allahabad High Court. There was going to be a full court meeting. Let's put it into perspective. Today, the Supreme Court has set aside its 4th August 4th August order that it had given. Let me put this and explain this to our viewers properly. Justice Pardiwala heard this matter just a few minutes ago, and he said we've got a letter from the Allahabad High Court that's requesting us to reconsider what we had passed on 4th August. What had they passed on 4th August, viewers? On 4th August, they had said that the judge of the Allahabad High Court should be de-rostered because of certain orders that he had passed on certain cases, on criminal cases. However, the powers to de-roster a judge are only with the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court. They do not lie with the Supreme Court. This is something that had caused judicial tremors within the judiciary. There was an open battle between the Allahabad High Court that had written 13 judges, signed a letter to the Allahabad Chief Justice, writing to him to say they are pained and shocked with this matter that has been, and the kind of work that has been done by the Supreme Court, after which today this matter came before the Supreme Court. I also, in my, I also have a feeling, and I've also been told by my sources, the Chief Justice of India also had something to do with this matter coming up today before the bench. Justice Pardiwala, who had passed that order, it was against Justice Prashant Kumar, it had been passed, that had de-rostered him from hearing any criminal matters. It was a very scathing matter with great observations, very critical of Justice Prashant Kumar. It is not something that he could have done, that is to de-roster him under the understanding that we have, because the High Court is not a subordinate judiciary. Justice Pardiwala has just passed this order where he says we direct the registry to re-notify this matter for consideration to the High Court Chief Justice, which is what they should have done in the first place. It's the High Court Chief Justice who is, as the master roster, can decide what matters go to Justice Prashant Kumar, not the Supreme Court. They say by the August 4th order, we had set aside the order and remand the matter back to the High Court for reconsideration. Our intention was not to cause embarrassment, etc., etc. However, I'm going to now just make our viewers understand what happened. It was a huge embarrassment that had been caused even within the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice of India was facing a lot of issues with and objections to this order that had been passed by Justice Pardiwala's bench. They were trying to understand how to make this wrong or right. Justice Pardiwala's bench had passed an order on the 4th of August giving great strictures to Justice Prashant Kumar, and now today the same Justice Pardiwala's bench, after getting this letter, has said that all right, we set aside our order. Why is this unprecedented? First, for the first time ever, we are seeing an open battle between the Allahabad High Court and the Supreme Court. Second, the judiciary always kept private its own matters. Today, the ropes have been dropped within the judiciary itself, and we are hearing these critical and very controversial details of judicial tremors out in the open for the very first time. Third, it's one of the first times we are seeing the Allahabad High Court 13 judges sign a letter to the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court and say that we want this to be reconsidered because the Supreme Court's order has shocked and pained us because it was scathing. Fourth, immediately taking note of this letter, on a Monday morning, they have immediately said, all right, we shall be taking note of this. On the 8th of August, I beg your pardon, on a Friday morning, on the 8th of August, they take note of this. Mondays and Fridays are usually miscellaneous matter days. And at 10:30, they come, they sit and they say, all right, the August 4th order we had passed a few days ago, we set it aside. So within a span of 4 days, they've churned it around. There were judicial tremors that were caused, and the top court sets it right by saying we take and recall that order back. It is the High Court Allahabad Chief Justice that will be going ahead and passing the correct order. Just a short while ago, viewers, I'm also going to try and get Anil Tiwari of the Allahabad High Court Bar Association here, because I was just speaking to him to understand what he said on it. And all right, yes, so I just spoke to Anil Tiwari, and I guess Tanisha's trying to patch him here. He just told me that, he told me lots of things actually. He said that we're also against the kind of order that's been passed by the Supreme Court. And he did tell me that the Allahabad High Court Bar Association was also going to be writing a letter to the High Court Chief Justice. However, I think the Okay, Anil Tiwari joining us on the phone line. Mr. Tiwari, I was just telling our viewers, just before this Supreme Court judgment came out, I was having a word with you. The Supreme Court has put and set aside its order to de-roster Justice Prashant Kumar. You were talking earlier about the effects on the independence of judiciary and stating the High Court is not a subordinate judiciary. Today, very clearly now, with this setting aside, I think the Allahabad High Court and the Allahabad High Court judges will be more pacified?
Look here, my only comment is that Supreme Court has realized that this judgment was against the constitution balance. Constitution of India does not provide any power to the Supreme Court to control High Court. High Court is not subordinate judiciary. And look here, this judgment was not against the judge. It was against the institution, it was against the public opinion, and it was against the democracy. That judgment is set aside, is a step to welcome. We are welcoming this decision. Supreme Court has very correctly passed the further judgment. I'm very happy.
Absolutely.
I'm very happy.
Mr. Tiwari,
but I want to add
Yes.
one thing, if you permit me.
Please.
If you permit me, please, I want to add something. A larger angle. You look here. If the earlier judgment was correct, then there is a question that collegium system has failed. I'm saying that collegium system is basically, it should be removed immediately, it should be amended and to the made tune as per the Constitution of India. Constitution of India does not provide any power on the Supreme Court for appointment of High Court judges. This judgment, that collegium system should be revisited now. This time has come.
I want you to make me understand and our viewers understand, Mr. Tiwari, why are you talking about the collegium system today?
Can I speak in Hindi so that the public may understand me? मैं कहना ये चाहता हूँ कि जब संविधान बना, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में स्टेट और यूनियन में एक रिलेशन बनाया गया और स्टेट को इंडिपेंडेंट पावर्स दिए गए, कुछ फील्ड में कंट्रोल दिया गया सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को. ठीक इसी तरह से हाई कोर्ट को बनाया गया स्टेट का मेन हाई कोर्ट, स्टेट का टॉप कोर्ट, और सुप्रीम कोर्ट को बनाया कंट्री का टॉप कोर्ट. लेकिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट के साथ सबऑर्डिनेट जुडिशरी नहीं दी. सबऑर्डिनेट जुडिशरी इज लाइंग विद हाई कोर्ट. हर स्टेट की सबऑर्डिनेट जुडिशरी हाई कोर्ट के कंट्रोल में दे दी, लेकिन हाई कोर्ट को कंट्रोल में नहीं दिया. ये था हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में इंडिपेंडेंस को इंश्योर करने के लिए जो अपॉइंटमेंट का सिस्टम था, वो सिस्टम फॉलो होता रहा 1992 तक. 1992 के पहले आप मुझे आज भी बता दीजिए, एक भी कंट्रोवर्शियल जजमेंट आपको नहीं मिलेगा. एक्सेप्शंस आर एवरीवेयर, लेकिन कोई इशू कभी नहीं रेज हुआ. पहली बार सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अपॉइंटमेंट के पावर को टेक ओवर किया कोलिजियम सिस्टम बना के. 92 के बाद के जजेस आर अपॉइंटेड बाय द कोलिजियम. केवल एक मिसनॉमर है कि प्रेसिडेंट उसका अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर इशू करता है, लेकिन एवरी प्रोसेस इज कंट्रोल्ड बाय द कोलिजियम सिस्टम. नाउ यू सी, पहला तो अपॉइंटमेंट का पावर ले लिया, उसके बाद जस्टिस यशवंत वर्मा का मामला आपके सामने है. जस्टिस के खिलाफ कोई लीगल एक्शन नहीं हो सकता, इवन क्रिमिनल प्रोसिक्यूशन नहीं हो सकता. उन काम के लिए जो जुडिशियल पावर के बाहर की चीजें हैं, ये नहीं हो सकता. ये दो चीज हुई. तीसरा हुआ कि एवरीवेयर द ऑर्डर, तीसरा आपके सामने है, कोई भी जजमेंट पास करके किसी भी तरह का ऑब्जर्वेशन पास कर देना एज इफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज कंट्रोलिंग द एंटायर नेशन. ये तीन चीजें हैं, जो तीन चीजें इंडियन डेमोक्रेसी को अफेक्ट कर रही हैं. हिंदुस्तान का आज लोकतंत्र जो है वो अफेक्टेड है. पब्लिक का कॉन्फिडेंस लूज हो रहा है. ये सारी घटनाएं टोटल आप देखें, इसका जो समग्र जो इफेक्ट है, इसका क्यूमुलेटिव इफेक्ट है, दैट इफेक्ट इज ऑन द डेमोक्रेसी एंड द कॉन्फिडेंस ऑफ द पीपल which has shattered now, which is at the stage of collapse. So this is the time when everything should be revisited and Constitution of India should be restored. This is the opinion of a man who has given his 35 years in Indian judiciary as a career as an advocate. So that is why I am linking this issue with the larger field, that is collegium also. Collegium should be replaced immediately. It should be revisited, and I request the Supreme Court system to constitute a bench, a larger bench, to consider this aspect as to whether this system should be revisited or not. This is the time.
That's right.
ये मैं कहना चाहता हूँ. मैं अपनी बात पूरी ताकत से रख रहा हूँ. पिछले 1 साल से मैं बोल रहा हूँ ये चीज, और मैं इसके लिए इसलिए बोल रहा हूं क्योंकि मेरा ये देश और मेरी डेमोक्रेसी मेरे खून के अंदर बहती है. आई एम नेशनलिस्ट. आई वांट माय नेशन टू सर्वाइव.
Absolutely. And this is something we're going to see. Anil Tiwari, I thank you for being with us. We were going to see this case take on a very different turn. You also, as the Allahabad High Court Bar Association president, were going to write a letter to the Chief Justice.
Yes. But now, yes, I was inclined to write a letter just now in the morning itself. But now now that judgment has come and matter has been set aside. So there is now no need to further escalate the matter. But I request on the Supreme Court system, our senior judges, to constitute a larger bench, more than 12 judges, 13 judges, 15 judges, more than that, so that the entire matter affecting the democratic structure of the constitution should be considered, and a larger issues may be dealt with by the judiciary itself.
I completely agree with you, and this is something we're going to look at.
To increase the confidence of the public.
In the last 24 hours, thank you, Mr. Tiwari, for joining us, that has seen such events. I would say the last 5 days, judicial tremors in the Supreme Court, almost like the kind of stuff that we see in the Parliament. But today, August 4th, the Supreme Court passes an order. They say Justice Prashant Kumar, whose visuals are on the screen, should no longer be hearing criminal cases. He needs to be derostered. This order causes a lot of controversy and upheaval in the corridors of the judiciary, in all corridors of power, and then finally a decision is taken. A letter is written to the Allahabad Chief Justice. That letter is signed by 12 judges of the Allahabad High Court. It's written by a High Court judge. That letter then becomes something that is sent to Justice Pardiwala. That bench is anyways, by some turn of events, going to be looking at this matter as directions matter today. So it was already listed before them for directions. I'm sure that has something to do with within the workings of the Supreme Court and the wisdom of the Chief Justice of India. This matter was anyways put forward before the same bench today. 10:30 Friday morning, they come. Justice Pardiwala's bench comes and sits down. The first things they say, we've received a letter. We are going to reconsider what we had written. This was not meant to cause any embarrassment, and we set aside our order. Finally, very soon, in a matter of 5 days, I think it's finally game up, because the Allahabad High Court is going to be more relaxed and pacified now, as the judges have passed an order now that whatever has to be done in this case shall be done by the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court.
Yes, Ridham, I think we also have a reporter joining us live. We have with us Aditya. We also have with us Shambhavi. Both are joining live. And Ridham, I would like to take some questions to them first, and then you can perhaps continue. But, Shambhavi, I'll come to you first. It definitely looks like something which is unprecedented. Supreme Court set aside the order that derostered the High Court Judge Prashant Kumar. Definitely an unprecedented move.
Definitely, even while they were dictating this, they said that there are thousands and thousands of litigants in the country, and the motive with which they approach the courts in India is to seek justice. And for 90% of them, the High Court is mostly the end destination to get so. And there are only 10% who are privileged enough to go and seek justice from a Supreme Court. So they said that our intention of giving the said order was to make sure that people, when they reach the High Court, when they go to the High Court to seek justice, they don't come back with an unreasonable order. And they said that they completely agree with the fact that the Chief Justice of the High Court is the master of the roster, and he has the power to de-roster anybody. And that is why they deleted the 2 paragraphs which mentioned that Justice Prashant Kumar will not be dealing with any of the criminal cases. If at all he sits in a division bench, he will be assigned with a senior judge. And now the Supreme Court has very clearly stated that they totally agree that the Chief Justice of the High Court is indeed the master of the roster.
That's right, Shambhavi. And we are also being joined right now by Aditya. Aditya is also with us. Aditya, let's just take our viewers through exactly why this is very important, because we see that there were 2 directions which had come earlier. That Justice Kumar be removed from all criminal cases assignments until he retires, and he should be placed on a division bench sitting with a more experienced judge rather than handling cases solo. Now, these 2 did not go down very well at all. And finally, we see that the Supreme Court has set aside that same order. Okay, let's move ahead. We are getting some breaking updates coming in right now, viewers. Let's go ahead to the new breaking update that we're getting for our viewers. VVIP chopper scam. Court rejects Michelle's plea. Big update coming in here, viewers, on Republic TV. And this is the Augusta Westland VVIP chopper deal case. Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court rejects the request of Christian Michelle James for releasing him from custody in the case. He had prayed for his release on the grounds that he had undergone the maximum punishment of 7 years. So big update coming in right now, viewers, on Republic TV. And as we keep getting you more updates, let's tell you exactly what is happening. We have with us Ridham. Yes, Ridham, big update coming in from the Rouse Avenue Court. We'll go to them in a short while from now, viewers. But this is a huge update. Huge update coming in right now, viewers, on Republic TV, where we are understanding that the court had reserved the decision on Michelle's release. And now there's an update coming in. Yes, Tanisha, Michelle's plea on release from court custody has been rejected.
Well, absolutely, Shivangi. A big news break there coming in. Christian Michelle's plea has been rejected. Remember, he had approached he has approached the court saying that he has since completed his maximum years of punishment and hence he has to be released from the custody. However, today his plea has been rejected. And remember, this comes as a big breaking news because there are many other skeletons that are yet to be tumbled out as far as the Augusta Westland scam is concerned. It is a scam that gets back the UPA era scam back in focus. Earlier when Soumya had confronted him inside the court, remember, he had confessed that yes, corruption did take place, there was corruption. However, he had completely denied his links with the intermediaries and the politicians here in India. He had then said that the corruption that took place in Italy and not here in India. But how he did admit, Shivangi, that there was corruption that took place. He, however, did not go ahead to name any links that he had with anybody here in India, with any political party or the intermediaries, and that's about it. But that statement had brought back the UPA era scam back in focus. What about all of those scams that had gone under probe, that had no result that had been yielded yet? And that's the big news break that we have. Soon after the hearing that took place today, we learned that that the court has rejected his plea where he had requested to be released. Christian Michelle had requested to be released from custody. He is the middleman as far as we talk about the Augusta Westland scam. He wanted to be released and the reason that he cited was that he has completed his maximum years of punishment and that he is to be released. However, the court has completely rejected that petition. All right, moving across to some other breaking news that's coming in, and this is in regard with the all-out war that has erupted between the Election Commission and Rahul Gandhi. Remember, just yesterday, after Rahul Gandhi presented a 15-page long presentation, it is the Election Commission today and Fadnavis which has rebuked Rahul Gandhi over his charge. Fadnavis has said that Rahul is lying to mask election defeats. That big statement of the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis. Let's listen to that first.
पहली बात तो यह है कि न महाराष्ट्र में वोटों की चोरी हुई है, न देश में कई वोटों की चोरी हुई है। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि राहुल जी के दिमाग की चिप चोरी चली गई है और उनकी हार्ड डिस्क करप्ट हो गई है। इसलिए लगातार वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं, गलत बयानबाजी कर रहे हैं और जनता का मैंडेट चोरी कर रहे हैं, लोकतंत्र को चोरी कर रहे हैं, लोकतंत्र ने दिया हुआ फैसला चोरी कर रहे हैं। और उनके फिगर भी बार बार बदलते हैं। पिछले समय का महाराष्ट्र में 75 लाख वोट बढ़े, अब का 1 करोड़ वोट बढ़े। महाराष्ट्र के वोटों के बारे में पूरे फैक्ट्स एंड फिगर्स के साथ हमने उनको जवाब दिया, उसके ऊपर वो जवाब नहीं दे पाए। इसलिए झूठ बोलकर अपनी हार को दबाने की कोशिश कर रहे, कवर फायरिंग कर रहे। उनको पता है आगे भी हारने वाले हैं, तब वो बोलेंगे मैं तो पहले कहता था। इस प्रकार की कवर फायरिंग उनकी चल रही है। और मैं सबसे ज़्यादा आश्चर्यचकित इस बात से हूँ कि आप लगातार ये कहते हो कि वोटर लिस्ट में गड़बड़ी है, वोटर लिस्ट में गड़बड़ी है, तो फिर बिहार में कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव रिवीजन को आप क्यों विरोध कर रहे हो? अगर वोटर लिस्ट में गड़बड़ी है तो वोटर लिस्ट सुधरेगी कैसे? कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव रिवीजन से। हम मांग कर रहे हैं 10 साल से कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव रिवीजन कीजिए, डी नोवो वोटर लिस्ट तैयार कीजिए, हम मांग कर रहे हैं। और अब जब चुनाव आयोग वो कर रहा है तो आप उसका विरोध कर रहे हो। सच बात तो ये है कि उनको ये पता है कि उनकी पार्टी का वजूद खो गया है और अपना वजूद वापस पाने की जगह भारत की लोकतांत्रिक संस्थाओं को बदनाम करने का काम ये उनके माध्यम से हो रहा है। मैं इसका धिक्कार करता हूं।
All right, that's a very, very sharp rebuttal that has come from the Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis himself. Harsha is joining us live on the broadcast. Harsha, the Election Commission has rebuked Rahul Gandhi. They have said that after many claims and objections that were raised by certain political parties, there's nothing factual. There is nothing as a report that has been filed by any political party yet. And the same question is being raised by Devendra Fadnavis here as well, that if Rahul Gandhi thinks that there is vote theft and that there are voters that are not supposed to be there in the list, then why are they actually revolting against EC's SIR decision in Bihar state?
So, Tanisha, it's very bizarre and astonishing that an LOP, who's the major leader of opposition also in the Indie bloc, he is making claims in the press conference and moreover by protesting here at the inside the parliament. But rather than going to the election commission with under the oath-taking declaration with the name of the people and the fake voters which he has claimed till now. Yesterday also, Election Commission of India refuted the claims of Rahul Gandhi, called it baseless and false. In fact, Election Commission of India went on by saying that the Election Commission officer in Uttar Pradesh have clearly stated that how the name Aditya Srivastava and Vishal Singh, which Rahul Gandhi claims in his press conference, that those have voted in Uttar Pradesh also and other assembly constituencies also during other state election, that is based and false, baseless and false. In fact, Election Commission of India also went on by sharing their Aadhaar card and whether in what state assemblies the particular voters have voted. So these are the claims which are made by Rahul Gandhi. And yes, BJP leaders, not only BJP leaders, but now the allies of the NDA as well, they are hitting out at Rahul Gandhi by clearly stating that it is because of Rahul Gandhi that the parliament is not being able to run, the business is not functioning, every day there is a protest. It's such a waste of public money, there's such a waste of time and energy of all the member of parliament who are here from last 15 days because of the SIR issue, an issue which Rahul Gandhi is claiming and which is not Rahul Gandhi claiming by meeting Election Commission of India. The Election Commission of India have invited Rahul Gandhi with 2 representatives to come to the Election Commission of India and speak on it and give the letter regarding what he is quoting and claiming in the public forum. So this is what CC has already stated, that rather than before elections in Bihar, Rahul Gandhi coming to Election Commission, he is going to do each and everything after election concludes in Bihar. So that's very bizarre attitude of also LOP Rahul Gandhi inside and outside parliament, where he has mocked the constitutional position of not only CEC but have also raised serious allegations on the Election Commission of India. Back to you.
Right, Harsha, stay with us because we're also getting a reaction from Priyanka Gandhi, who is now towing the same line as Rahul Gandhi, which is to be there. And she's now questioned the poll body, saying if there is a voter fraud, then what is the need to shy away from it and why is it not being investigated? She's also, in fact, gone on to attack the Election Commission of India, saying that is the EC only answerable to the BJP? Listen into this.
पिटिशन किस नियम के तहत है जो एफिडेविट मांग रहे हैं? उस नियम के तहत 30 दिन के अंदर आप एफिडेविट दो, नहीं तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला। तो एफिडेविट क्यों चाह रहे हैं? तो इतना बड़ा खुलासा किया है। अगर ये सब है, मान लो अगर अनइंटेंशनल गलती है तो आप उसको इन्वेस्टिगेट करिए। आप वोटर लिस्ट दे क्यों नहीं रहे हैं? आप इन्वेस्टिगेट कर क्यों नहीं रहे हैं? उसके बजाय आप कह रहे हैं कि एफिडेविट साइन करके दो। इससे बड़ा ओथ क्या है जो हम सदन में लेते हैं? इससे बड़ा इस देश में कोई भी ओथ है नहीं है। वो ओथ तो लिया हुआ है, पब्लिक में सब कुछ कह रहे हैं, दिखा रहे हैं आपको कि देखिए 40,000 फर्जी वोट हैं, 10,000 पता नहीं जो भी है, उनके आंकड़े मुझे याद नहीं है, बट जो भी 11,000, 1 लाख से ज्यादा एक असेंबली में, एक विधानसभा के अंदर। आप समझ सकते हैं जो चुनाव लड़ता है वो समझता है इस बात।
Naril Kohli, national spokesperson of BJP, joins us on the phone line right now. Naril Kohli, thank you very much for speaking to Republic. One clear-cut question here is, if Rahul and the Congress party fears that there has been a vote theft, why are they protesting against the revision of voter list in Bihar then?
It's a very good question. And this question should be directed to Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Ms. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. The fact of the matter is, the same election commission has conducted elections which the Congress party has won and formed governments in Karnataka, Telangana and Shimla in Himachal Pradesh. Mr. Rahul Gandhi won 2 elections as an MP, resigned from one, and Ms. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is an MP because she contested the 3rd election then and won it. If the election commission was a stooge of the BJP, why would they be winning? Why would the Congress be winning? The election commission is justified to ask for Mr. Rahul Gandhi to give an affidavit. If he believes that this is a fraud, he's making such large claims in such a positive manner, with so much confidence, why is he scared to give an affidavit? The very fact that Ms. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has said, why should he give an affidavit? Is the oath of the House not bigger? It shows that they are now worried to put it on affidavit, because so far Mr. Rahul Gandhi has an unblemished track record of making allegations without substance. He did that in Rafale, Supreme Court junked it. He did that in Pegasus, again they ran away from it. In every instance, he asked and his party asked for proof in surgical strikes, Bal Code, raised questions on Operation Sindoor. One day he agrees with President Trump that India is a dead economy. Another day he says India should stand up against President Trump. He calls all people with the surname of Modi as chor. The Supreme Court rebukes him after he has a conviction by a court, after due process is there. On National Herald, he has no answers. So when a person whose own credibility is under stake makes wild allegations or makes allegations that he believes to be true, he must say, I believe them to be true. This is what I'm showing, how 40,000 votes are incorrect.
Absolutely.
And I wish to put it on affidavit. Let it be tested. The fact that he and his sister are running away from it shows that they had launched another guerrilla sort of spit and run tactic, and it's boomeranging on them.
Right, absolutely, Sanal Kohli. Thank you very much for sharing your insights on that. And even as we speak, it's just not the Congress party, but even the Samajwadi Party, who has now gone ahead to attack the Election Commission of India. They have questioned the Election Commission of India, saying that if the party had already submitted nearly 18,000 affidavits, then why is it that the poll body has not acted yet on that? Listen into this reaction.
कुछ 18,000 एफिडेविट समाजवादी पार्टी ने फाइल किया था। क्या हुआ? क्यों आपके बोलते बंद हो गई, कलम खामोश हो गया? आपकी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है लोकतंत्र में, या लोकतंत्र में विशेष अधिकार है कि आपको शपथ पत्र देने पर भी आप कोई कार्रवाई नहीं करेंगे? सबसे पहले चुनाव आयोग उसका जवाब दे, पहली बात। दूसरी बात, मैं चुनाव आयोग से पूछना चाहता हूं कि हर फर्जीवाड़े का सबूत देने के बाद आप शपथ पत्र मांगते हैं। शपथ पत्र देंगे कि अगर फर्जीवाड़ा सही पाया गया, शिकायतें सही पाया गया, तो आप इस्तीफा देंगे, आपको बर्खास्त किया जाना चाहिए। ये चुनाव आयोग की जिम्मेदारी होती कि नहीं होती है? तो मैं तो मांग करता हूं कि अगर शपथ पत्र पर दी गई शिकायतें सही पाई गई तो ये बर्खास्त हो या इस्तीफा दूं, इसके लिए सहमति जाहिर करें।
All right, with that, we shift our focus to some other breaking news coming in, and this is from the national capital, where we learned that Huma Qureshi's cousin brother had today been stabbed brutally after a parking dispute that took place in the Nizamuddin area. The CCTV visual of the same are on your screen right now. It was a very petty issue that was over the parking dispute area. This happened in the Nizamuddin area of the national capital. Huma Qureshi's cousin brother, Asif Qureshi, had come out, and this happened at last night, 11 p.m., where Huma Qureshi's brother had come out asking few men to remove their scooter from the place where he had parked his car, because that would have difficulty on him walking through the area. However, that little request turned into a huge dispute and altercation, which then resulted in the accused stabbing Huma Qureshi's brother. Here's the CCTV footage on your screen. 2 people have already been arrested so far in the case. Here's a report that has been filed by my colleague Kajal from the murder spot in the national capital.
ये आसिफ का घर है जिसका मर्डर किया गया है। ये वही घर है जहां पर आसिफ को मारा गया है, और ये वही जगह है जहां पर स्कूटी पार्किंग को लेकर जो है आसिफ ये उज्जवल और गौतम को कह रहे थे कि आप अपनी स्कूटी थोड़ा आगे कर लीजिए, क्योंकि उनकी वाइफ जो है उनके पैरों में रॉड डली हुई है जिसमें बैठने में प्रॉब्लम होती है, और वहाँ पर जगह नहीं बची थी। यहाँ वो जगह है जहाँ पर आसिफ को घसीटते हुए लाया गया है। यहाँ से वो स्टेन लगे हुए कपड़ों को पुलिस ने अपने कब्जे में लिया है। और ये वो घर इस वक्त जो आप देख रहे हैं, ये वही घर है जहां पर उज्जवल और गौतम रहते थे। और यहां से वो नीचे आया, उसके बाद जो है आसिफ को मारना शुरू किया। पहले उन्होंने यहां से घसीटते हुए उसको मारा और उसके बाद यहां पर अपने गेट के सामने लाकर पत्थरों से मारा। और ये बताया जा रहा है, जो आई विटनेस है वो ये बता रहे हैं कि कुछ नोकीली चीज़ थी जिससे उनके सीने में खंजर घोंपा गया और उसके बाद वहीं पर उसकी मौत हो गई। हालांकि उनकी पत्नी की तरफ से पूरी तरीके से कोशिश भी की गई, अस्पताल ले जाया गया, लेकिन अस्पताल पहुंचते ही डॉक्टरों ने मृत घोषित कर दिया है। फिलहाल उज्जवल और गौतम को जो है गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया और आगे की जांच चल रही है। यहाँ पर ये बताया जा रहा है कि सिर्फ आसिफ को मारने में उज्जवल और गौतम ही नहीं, बल्कि उनकी फैमिली और उनकी बहनें भी ऐसा कह रही थी कि मारिए और आप इसको।
Right, Akhil is joining me on the broadcast on that. Akhil, you have been tracking the story very closely. You've spoken to the eyewitness there. What have they told you? What did they see? Did the accused and the victim here in this case, Huma Qureshi's brother, have any past history of a brawl that today resulted in a petty fight that led to the stabbing incident? What did the eyewitness say? What are the statements that are coming out as far as the case is concerned? Akhil, if you can hear me, what is it that the eyewitness are saying as far as the case is concerned? All right, we've lost Akhil, but we'll try getting in touch with him once we are back with him on the phone line. But for now, we shift our focus to some other stories that we are tracking. This is Bharat in 2 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to chair a high-level cabinet meeting today at 1 p.m. to evaluate the consequences of the United States raising tariffs on Indian exports. This move by Washington, linked to India's continued oil imports from Russia, has sharply intensified trade tensions between the two nations. Disaster relief and rescue work continued for the second consecutive day to evacuate people trapped in Harsil flash floods. Chinkook and Mi-17V5 helicopters of the IAF along with C-295 and AN-32 transport aircraft have been deployed for the rescue work, and people are being brought to Matli helipad. The Indian Air Force evacuated nearly 226 civilians, inducted 130 NDRF, SDRF and IA personnel and airlifted nearly 20 tons of relief material. Actor Huma Qureshi's cousin was murdered in Delhi's Nizamuddin area after a dispute over parking in Thursday. He was attacked when he asked two men to move their scooter from his house gate. Two suspects have been arrested in the case. India, which is currently OpenAI's second largest market, could soon become its largest. This was revealed by CEO Sam Altman as the company unveiled its next generation model GPT-5, hailing India as the incredibly fast-growing market. Altman noted the remarkable pace at which Indian citizens and businesses are adapting to artificial intelligence. The Election Commission issued a notification for the September 9 vice presidential polls, kickstarting the election and the exercise to elect Jagdeep Dhankar's successor. Rajya Sabha Secretary General PC Modi, the returning officer for the election, received 3 nomination papers which were rejected for not being in order. August 21 is the last date for filing nominations, and the documents will be scrutinized on August 22nd. And with that, it's time for us to slip into a short commercial break. But after the break, we'll get you the details on the top international story that has made headlines, not just internationally, but also here in India. This is about Donald Trump calling off trade talks with India amid the tariff war. All that and much more after a break.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
The Indian economy has been the fastest growing G20 economy for 8 of the last 11 years. And those are the only 8 in the last 77 years during which India has been the largest, has been the fastest growing economy among the G20. So during the years that Rahul Gandhi's family ruled India, India's per capita income was declining relative to the rest of the world. Just listen to that. The average income of an Indian was
Breaking news just coming in continuation of the ongoing humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations in the Harsil sector of Uttarakhand, the Indian Army has successfully re-established critical communication infrastructure to support rescue efforts and civilian welfare. On 7th of August 2025, secured Army communication networks, including satellite and radio relay systems, were activated immediately to aid ongoing rescue missions. This vital step has enabled stranded civilians to connect with their families through the Army's communication network and satellite internet-based calls. Emotional scenes have unfolded as individuals spoke to the loved ones, assuring them of safety and well-being. And it's time for us to slip into, again, a very short commercial break. But after the break, we'll get you the details of how China has reacted very strongly to Donald Trump's tariff war, saying that the order is nothing but abuse of tariffs.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
State government has not issued any direction except what has been there already in CA. So if any cabinet decision is taken, I always come and share with you. So no special decision has been taken, but Citizenship Amendment Act itself provides security and protection to the people who entered into India prior to 2014. So that is the law, and case is in the Supreme Court. Unless Supreme Court strike it down, that is the law of the land. So for that, no special cabinet decision or no special decision is required. We have taken 2 cabinet decisions for the Koch Rajbangshi and Gorkha people.
With that, viewers, it's time for a quick break. On the other side, we'll tell you about Donald Trump ruling out trade talks with India amid tariff dispute. Stay tuned.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
Sports isn't just about medals and podiums. It is about heartbreak,
challenges, and discipline. It is also about leaders choosing sport to empower the community to live longer and healthier. I congratulate my friend Arnab and R4 Sports for championing these untold stories that we all need to hear and learn from. Here's wishing R4 Sports all the best.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में
follow up on the India tariffs. Do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
US President Donald Trump rules out trade talks with India amid tariff dispute. China calls Trump's tariff abuse of power. Supreme Court set aside the order that had de-rostered High Court Judge Prashant Kumar. Chief Electoral Officer of Uttar Pradesh fact-checks Rahul Gandhi, says Rahul's facts are incorrect. Election Commission has hit back at Rahul Gandhi over Bihar. SIR says no claims or objections have been submitted by any political party. Actor Huma Qureshi's cousin killed in Delhi's Nizamuddin over parking dispute, 2 arrested. A very good morning, viewers. It's 11:30 a.m. and you're watching Republic TV. I'm Deepak Suresh Kumar. Viewers, Republic Media Network is set to launch the R for Sports anthem that roars with the voice of a billion dreams. Hashtag Main Bharat Hu ignites India's sporting spirit like never before. It is the rhythm of resilience, the pulse of passion, and the heartbeat of every Indian athlete. From the gullies to the grand stages, from grassroots to glory, this anthem belongs to every single Indian. A sporting roar, a national call, a billion dreams. Join us for the launch of Sports Anthem of the Year R for Sports. Hashtag Main Bharat Hu today at 5:30 p.m. Let's get started with the breaking news that we're tracking from Tamil Nadu. Viewers, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has unveiled Tamil Nadu state education policy, and the policy comes as an alternative to the national education policy, rejecting the centre's education policy. And Tamil Nadu has consistently and vocally opposed the NEP, especially its 3-language formula, centralized entrance exams, and also early standardized testing. The DMK-led government has termed the NEP regressive, anti-social justice, and an attempt at Hindi imposition. And this is the big breaking news we are tracking. And Sharda is joining us on the phone line. Sharda, M.K. Stalin has unveiled an alternative to NEP while claiming that there is a deliberate bid to impose Hindi on the state. Help us understand what this new education policy of Tamil Nadu entails.
Well, Deepak, we know that DMK has been going against the national education policy and been stating that this national education policy is an indirect imposition of Hindi into the state of Tamil Nadu. We've been seeing the fight that is going on between the DMK and centre for the past 10 months, and now stating that he had a council formed back in 2021 about this, and the 14-member council has come up with an education policy, which is, we can say that it is not a new education policy, but just an information to the people stating that the state has an education policy that was formed in 1971. So it's just a reimposition of the old state education policy that Tamil Nadu has been following. The main point that this education policy has is that Tamil Nadu will be following the two-language policy, that is Tamil and English, and that they would not have another language implemented in the government-run schools. And also the main opposition that the DMK is keeping is that they do not want the NEET exams. However, after 2017, NEET has been made compulsory for medical exams. Now the DMK is saying that they have been fighting against the center for a very long time, and that they still continue to do so and make sure that Tamil Nadu does not have NEET imposition. So these two are the main points that is being kept by the education policy under the DMK. We also have the new education policy stating that these government schools will have a policy that until 8th standard nobody would be failed, and that it would be made a compulsory pass for the students. And this is one of the interesting topics that the DMK had kept for this new education policy. We have to wait and see if there's a difference between the 1971, the state education policy that was passed in the legislation, or if it is something new that the DMK
That's
has
right,
come up
Sharda.
with.
This is a direct counter to the centre's national education policy, and now MK Stalin has floated his own education policy for the state of Tamil Nadu, and this comes just ahead of the 2026 Assembly elections. Thank you, Sharda, for joining us with those details. Now let's talk about the free run to Khalistani terrorists in Canada, viewers. And in Surrey, the latest incident, Kapil Sharma's cafe is once again under fire, quite literally, because back-to-back incidents of shooting have been reported. First, it was on July 9th, and after that, in less than a month, another targeted attack has been witnessed in Surrey. And this after Republic of Khalistan was also floated by K elements. Here's more. Round 2 of terror strikes Canada. Shots fired again at Kapil Sharma's Caps Cafe in Surrey. Barely a month after the first attack, the same spot, same target, and this time with an extended threat. A fresh wave of fear as bullets pierced through glass and calm. Gangster Goldie Dillon, claiming ties to Lawrence Bishnoi, took responsibility for the shooting. Cafe windows shattered, security panels blasted. Staff and locals left in shock as Canada's law and order takes another blow. This comes just weeks after Khalistani terrorist Harjeet Singh Luddi, wanted by NIA, claimed responsibility for the first round of gunfire on July 9th at the same cafe. 2 groups, 2 attacks, but one target, Kapil Sharma's newly launched restaurant. From gang warfare to Khalistani terror, Surrey is turning into a breeding ground for the underworld. The Republic of Khalistan isn't just a slogan in Surrey. It's being carved in bullets and blood on foreign soil. A city caught in the crossfire of deadly power plays with India's most wanted terrorists waging war from a distance. Lawrence Bishnoi's network spreading tentacles across borders, exploiting Canada's laxity and India's stardom. And now, warnings of escalation, hints of a hit in Mumbai if the target doesn't listen. 2 rounds fired, but how many more to go? Who's next on this deadly list? And the big question is, will Canada finally wake up to the monster it's been breeding? Moving on, viewers, US President Donald Trump has said there will be no trade negotiations with India until a dispute over tariff is resolved, following his administration's decision to double tariffs on Indian imports. And when pressed by journalists at the Oval Office whether he expected talks to resume in light of the new tariffs that were imposed by him after signing the executive order, Donald Trump said there will be no trade talks until tariff issues are resolved.
The India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved. Mr. President.
To follow up on the India tariffs, do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved. Mr. President.
Well, that's not all, viewers. Replying to a question, US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to place an additional 25% tariff on India for its purchase of Russian oil. And what is China's comment? Well, Guo Jikan, spokesperson of China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, says, and I quote, China's opposition to the abuse of tariffs is consistent and very, very clear. And China has also said that this is nothing but abuse of power by Donald Trump. Well, now China is also jumping in and has condemned US President Donald Trump's arbitrary moves of announcing an additional 25% tariffs. And remember, China is the country that faces the highest tariffs. In Donald Trump's administration's newest release of all the tariff lists, China is number one, and India is on the third spot with 50% tariffs. And what we understand is that India has made it very, very clear that it will put its national interests first. And the Prime Minister also there making a very, very strong statement saying that he will pay a personal price if required for the nation. In fact, Chandrakala is joining us live. Chandrakala, this is Donald Trump gone rogue. He has said that there won't be any trade talks till tariff disputes are resolved. And meanwhile, China has also countered Donald Trump's tariff imposition. What's the situation like? When will we see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as this trade war is concerned?
Well, yes, absolutely, Deepak. A very, very crucial development underway right at this moment. We have seen that various countries, including China, has been cozying up to India. It has supported India as far as Trump's tariff is concerned, completely condemned Trump's tariffs, calling it, using tariff as a weapon is a violation to the UN law and WTO. There's a huge statement. Of course, the Chinese Foreign Ministry has also made it clear China's stand is consistent and clear as far as calling it abusive tariffs when it comes to tariff war. And Donald Trump has completely made it clear that he has completely ruled out any trade negotiations with India as far as until and unless the tensions are resolved. And we have seen the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu completely in support, backing India on this matter, and of course appreciating Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take a very, very strong stand as far as we are not going to bow down as far as outside pressure is concerned. And yes, we are, of course, the negotiations are underway. There are people, the NSC is also in Moscow. Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, is also supposedly to make a visit to India very soon. And yes, certain bilaterals are also underway as far as this situation is concerned. Of course, Japan has also backed India as far as tariffs is concerned. Yes, and India has made it clear it's very unreasonable and very unjustifiable as far as Trump tariff is concerned. And yes,
that's right, Chandrakala. It's unjustified,
it's
unfair, and it's uncalled for, to say the least, because Donald Trump has weaponized tariff, like you clearly mentioned. Now, let's talk about the principal deputy spokesperson for the U.S. Department of State, Tommy Pigott, has also issued a statement on the same. Listen in.
What I can say in terms of India is the president has been very clear in terms of the concerns he has regarding the trade imbalance, regarding the concerns he has when it comes to the purchase of Russian oil. You've seen him take action directly on that, and I refer you to the president's comments for that. India is a strategic partner with whom we engage in a full and frank dialogue. That'll continue. The secretary also spoke to that. Like anything in foreign policy, you're not going to align 100% of the time on everything. But it is very clear, the president's been clear, the concerns that he has with the trade imbalance, the concerns he has with India purchasing Russian oil. He's been clear on that. He's taken action, and I refer you to his comments for further on that.
Now, viewers, as the U.S. intensifies its trade pressure on India, New Delhi is sending a very, very strong message of strategic autonomy. NSA Ajit Doval is in Moscow reinforcing deep-rooted ties with Russia, and this even as External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar prepares to follow. And with President Putin set to visit India soon, global diplomacy is clearly shifting gears. Here's more.
While US President Donald Trump ramps up the trade war with India,
we've made a lot of progress. And as you know, we put a 50% tariff on India.
on oil. They're the second largest. They're very close to China in terms of the purchase of oil from Russia. But so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we've had very productive talks today. Yes, ma'am.
If you do reach a deal with Ukraine and Russia, would you drop the additional tariffs on India?
Well, we'll determine that later, but right now they're paying a 50% tariff.
National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is in Moscow, and he met with Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu. A sure-shot reaffirmation of bilateral ties, Russia remains a high-value partner for India.
We have got a very special relationship, a long relationship, and we highly value our strategic partnership. We have had high-level engagements, and these high-level engagements have contributed very substantially. We are very excited and delighted to learn about the visit of His Excellency the President of Russia, President Putin, to India. I think that the dates are almost finalized now. The more important thing is this, that is, these summit meetings have always been the watershed points.
While Russia says they are committed to furthering cooperation with India. Another highlight of the meeting was the announcement of Putin's visit to India. NSA Doval confirmed that the Russian premier was due to visit soon. With Doval in Moscow and Putin's impending visit, the message to Washington could not be more clear. That for India, economic sovereignty and national interest is paramount. And if the West has drawn a plan to target India, then it's game on.
हमारे लिए अपने किसानों का हित सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है। भारत अपने किसानों के, पशुपालकों के और मछुआरे भाई बहनों के हितों के साथ कभी भी समझौता नहीं करेगा। और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं। मेरे देश के किसानों के लिए, मेरे देश के मछुआरों के लिए, मेरे देश के पशुपालकों के लिए आज भारत तैयार है।
Moving on to some breaking news coming in from Bhubaneswar in Odisha. A food delivery agent allegedly attacked a woman, Binodini Rath, after she questioned him about the delay in her food order. And the incident occurred yesterday, leaving the victim severely injured. Authorities are investigating the matter, which has raised serious concerns about customer safety in food delivery services. Now, this is the woman who was allegedly attacked by the delivery agent, and her only mistake was asking him why her food was delivered late. What was the delay all about? We have Riyanka joining us live. Riyanka, action must be taken against this food delivery agent because we've seen on these apps where they make tall claims that your order will be delivered in just 15 minutes or 20 minutes. But in reality, it takes more than the declared time. And when she questioned that, she was attacked.
Well, Deepak, this does raise certain questions.
Right. Riyanka, just hold your thoughts. We have some big breaking news coming in. Viewers, according to sources, if Rahul Gandhi believes in his analysis and believes that his allegations against EC are true, he should have no problem in signing the declaration. And if Rahul Gandhi does not sign the declaration, it would mean that he does not believe in his analysis and the resultant conclusions and also absurd allegations. Election Commission has now issued a very, very strong statement. Sign a declaration or apologize. This is the EC pulling up Rahul Gandhi over his unsubstantiated claims of voter list manipulation and vote theft as claimed by Rahul Gandhi. And now Election Commission has asked Rahul Gandhi sign the declaration or apologize. Riyanka continues to stay on with us. Riyanka, this is a very, very strong statement coming in from the Election Commission, because Rahul Gandhi over the last couple of months and even beyond that, he has been claiming there has been voter theft, voter list manipulation, and now the Election Commission has issued a very, very strong rebuttal to Rahul Gandhi, saying that if he does not sign the declaration, he must apologize for his unsubstantiated claims.
Absolutely, Deepak. That is indeed a very, very important statement coming in from the Election Commission, which has time and again, has been speaking about how Rahul Gandhi's claims are false. Remember, this morning also we had information coming in from the side of the state electoral officers who rather said that the claims made by Rahul Gandhi are completely false. And now the Election Commission once again saying that Rahul Gandhi, if he believes in his analysis and believes that his allegations against the EC are true, he should have no problem in signing the declaration. And if Rahul Gandhi does not sign the declaration, it would mean that he does not believe in the analysis and resultant conclusions and absurd allegations, in that case he should apologize to the nation. Now the Election Commission has made it very clear, if Rahul Gandhi is not afraid, he can go ahead and sign the declaration, but if he doesn't, then he must apologize to the people for making these false claims against the Election Commission for this entire SIR exercise that has come into being. In fact, the Election Commission had said all the political parties who have objections can come and report their objections to the Election Commission, but that has not happened. The Congress, the India Alliance have been time and again protesting and bringing it in front of the House in the Parliament regarding the Bihar SIR issue. But when it comes to issuing objections with the Election Commission, officially with the Election Commission, nothing has been done on that front. So now the Election Commission goes ahead and makes this very, very strong statement that Rahul Gandhi must apologize if he does not sign a declaration. He should not be afraid of signing a declaration if he has those proofs, which in turn turns out to be completely, completely false.
That's right, Riyanka, and the Election Commission has also said that presenting false evidence is also punishable under BNS. But thank you for joining me with those details. With that, viewers, it's time for a quick break. On the other side, we'll tell you about how Chief Electoral Officer of Uttar Pradesh, fact-checking Rahul Gandhi, says that the facts, the tall facts presented by Rahul Gandhi are nothing but false. Stay tuned.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा, राजा और मसाला, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो, मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
Mujawar has been a part of the ATS team that investigated this Malegaon case, and what he has to say today is explosive. He's breaking the silence. Mahmood Mujawar ji, thank you. शुक्रिया हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए. First of all, आपको ये फैसला आज सुन के क्या लगा? Do you think justice has finally been done in the case, Mujawar ji?
बहुत अच्छा लगा सर. कहीं तो न्याय हो गया. और ये न्याय मिलाने के लिए जो आपने जद्दोजहद की, जो आपने कोशिश की।
We have some big breaking news coming in. Union Minister Bandi Sanjay is set to appear before the special investigation team today in connection with the ongoing phone tapping case allegedly carried out during the previous BRS regime. He's expected to submit crucial evidence reportedly gathered through central intelligence channels. This is the phone tapping case that we're talking about that happened during the BRS's regime, and Bandi Sanjay will be quizzed by the SIT. And during his questioning, Bandi Sanjay is also expected to submit very, very crucial evidence reportedly gathered through Central Intelligence channels to the SIT. And to give us more details, we have Aneri joining us. Aneri, tell us about this phone tapping case and also the line of questioning of the SIT for Bandi Sanjay.
Right, Deepak, what we see is that the Union Ministry, MOS Home, Bandi Sanjay will be now appearing before the Special Investigation Team, who will be submitting some of the evidences to the Special Investigation Team, who has been probing into the phone tapping case, which has been alleged that the phone tapping was done back then during the BRS regime under KCR and KTR's rule. And we see that now the Bandi Sanjay will be submitting some of the evidences to the Special Investigation Team, which he has gathered through the Central Bureau of Investigation, through the Central Intelligence, basically, and he would be submitting some key evidences. What will be that, and what more details will be coming out of this phone tapping case, which was allegedly done back
That's
then.
right, Aneri. All eyes will be on what happens after the questioning. Whether details will emerge or not remains to be seen. But thank you for joining us with those details. Now, viewers, get ready for a game-changing movement, because Republic is proud to present R for Sports, a national campaign dedicated to discovering, celebrating and nurturing India's sporting spirit and spotlighting the heroes who carry India's hopes one match, one moment at a time. From rising athletes to grassroots talent, R for Sports bring their stories to center stage with one mission: sports first, nation first. This is more than a campaign, it's a call to action. R for Sports launching today only on Republic Media Network. On that note, we'll slip into a short break. On the other side, Priyanka Gandhi slams Election Commission for asking Rahul Gandhi to sign affidavits, says EC should investigate it. Along with that, Supreme Court has set aside the order that has de-rostered High Court Judge Prashant Kumar. Stay tuned for more on these two stories.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
The Indian economy has been the fastest growing G20 economy for 8 of the last 11 years. And those are the only 8 in the last 77 years, during which India has been the largest, has been the fastest growing economy among the G20. So during the years that Rahul Gandhi's family ruled India, India's per capita income was declining relative to the rest of the world. Just listen to that. The average income of an Indian was declining relative to the average income of every human on earth. That is a remarkably bad outcome.
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
अरे मेरे राजा
राजा आर प्योर मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया सफेद चने या काले चने
सब कुछ मजेदार बने
The Indian economy has been the fastest growing G20 economy for 8 of the last 11 years. And those are the only 8 in the last 77 years during which India has been the largest, has been the fastest growing economy among the G20. So during the years that Rahul Gandhi's family ruled India, India's per capita income was declining relative to the rest of the world. Just listen to that. The average income of an Indian was declining relative to the average income of.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Viewers, Republic Media Network is set to launch the R4 Sports Anthem that roars with the voice of a billion dreams.